Does he have it? He's going to get it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good evening and welcome to the Radical Sim Europe's Radical World Series for the European market. Good evening. I am here once again joined by Dean Upton, otherwise known as Biggles. Is Stephen here on the mic? Looking ready forward to another fantastic race. Some great racing to be had here at the Sebring International Raceway. We had some fantastic racing out last time and some great action going on track. Lots of incidents. Lots of drama to go with it as well. I'm looking forward to something more here. We're going to have a longer race this time. We're going to be here for an hour and a half for the race, 90-minute race this time. And there are going to be 2 mandatory pit stops, no mandatory fueling and open setups as well, which is going to prove handy for a lot of these drivers getting used to the bumps and niggles of this Sebring track. It is a bit of a nasty one at times. Some of the curbs are absolutely horrid as well. We're going to be avoiding those in the Radical SR8 car that we're going to be racing this one in. But yeah, looking forward to a great one. What about you?
Absolutely. Of course, that's one of the classic tracks, of course, in the USA. So we'll have to see these Radical cars scoot around here as quickly as possible. We have currently on the grid, about 30, give or take, maybe about the 30 or so drivers. Someone may still be loading in. Just about 5 minutes or so left of our practice session before we get into that qualifying. And yeah, if you'd like to go through those results, apologies we don't have that showing up on the screen. Just a little late last-minute technical issues. But yeah, Stephen, if you don't mind going through the results of last week's race.
Not a problem, not a problem. So yeah, let's go through those results now. We'll start with the Drivers' Championship. Adam Isaacson won in commanding fashion last time out. And we had Alfredo Meloar, or Mr. R, as he sometimes shows up on our screens, coming in P2. We've got Tim Bertie P3 on 46 points. Kyriakopoulos on 44 points in P4. Arturas Kundelis in P5 on 42 points. We've got John McHutchinson, who had a good race last time out, but got into an incident and ended up P6. He's on 40 points at the moment. Jorge Gonzaga with 38 points. Jason Duckworth, 36. P9, we've got Menno de Graaf with 34. We've got Paul Clark in P10 in the championship, 32 points. Berend Wienik in P11 at 30 points. Graham Brown in P12 at 28. We've got Nihad Glusic in P13 on 26 points. Damien G in P14 on 24 points. P15 it belongs to Guy Robertson, 22 points. We've got Paul LeMay, who's having a decent time out last time, but had some issues, in P16 on 20 points. We've got David Tartari on 18 points in P17. We've got number P18. Gary Truby with 16 points. P19 is Rudolf Nagel with 14 points. We've got Miro Hrazki, a difficult one to pronounce there, on 12 points in P20. 21, David Rolliston. P22, Lucas Stolzer. P23, Andy Behan. P24, Mike Busson. P25, Stefan Mellis. 26 is David Walters. 27, Kjetil Jarsen. I hope I'm pronouncing that one correctly. He's got 4 points there. And then Alexander Roggenbuck on 3 points in P28. 29 is Johan Almark. And then we've got Sandro Capella in P30, Joe Emmett in P31, and Simonas Balsunas in P32. And rounding us off with 0 points in the P33 is Jorge Martinez C, sometimes seen as Mr. C on our screen as well. So there's your championship, Drivers' Championship at the moment as it stands after one round. We're hoping to see some big changes in that this time in round 2. We've also got the team standings as well. We've got MK Racing in position 1 with 92 points as it stands. Sim RC in P2 with 50. We've got Team Radline in P3 with 47 points. Sim RC Beethoven with 46, not to be confused with Sim RC in P2. We've got Rad Sports Sim Racing in P5 with 40 points. And we've got iLounge Racing with 32 in P6. P7 belongs to Pocket Rocket Racing that is. Excuse my poor pronunciation. With 30 points, we've got Team GB in P8 with 28 points. We've got Sim RC Mozart in P9 with 23 points. Got Two Brothers Racing in P20 with 20 points in P10. Tiger Racing Team in P11. P12 belongs to the Essential Racing Team with 1 point. And in last place in P13 is Charles Cheeky with 0 points so far. So that's our team championship. Currently MK Racing standing in good stead in that one. We've also got 3 different SimRC teams as well. We've got the SimRC Beethoven and SimRC Mozart as well. And I apologise in advance if my Fs are a bit untowards this stream. I have lost a tooth. I currently look like a pirate. Somalian.
Oh, you lost a tooth? You look like a pirate?
Yeah, big gap in my teeth at the moment, so some of my F's slur a bit, and it's a bit difficult to pronounce certain words. But we'll muddle through, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just biting into a chocolate bar the other day, and I lost the teeth. I lost my two front teeth when I was very young. When I was 15, I fainted and hit a bad patch of ground and lost both front teeth, and I had them both replaced with crowns. I believe they're called the world over.
Yep.
And one of them just, snapped off for biting into a chocolate bar this weekend. So it's going to take me a week or two, I suppose, to get a dentist appointment to get that fixed. But we'll muddle through. And
yeah, that reminds me. I've got to go in there and get a couple of cavities done on my teeth. So that's
it's never pleasant.
It's like I got an hour drive, an hour to go to the clinic as well, 2 and an hour back because there's nothing around here.
So what you get for living in the middle of the jungle.
That's what I get for living in the middle of the jungle. All right. And,
but yeah,
g'day everybody in the chat. Hello, evening guys. Good luck tonight there, Owen.
Yeah, we've got John McCutcheon in there saying hello, and even Bremer as well, giving us our first information there. We've got an SR8 doing backflips.
Yeah. Oh, they're only down a couple of seconds now in the practice session, so that's the reason why they're just messing around. No doubt. We can't do that anymore because it's qualifying time coming up in a second.
Certainly is. We've got some chat going on in iRacing as well. Somebody's asking there, is there a record number for a 90-minute race? I believe we've got a very decent turnout for what is 17 corners at Sebring on a very, very bumpy racetrack. The Radicals do not like it, but I imagine a few of these guys have managed to work out some of those kinks with their setups. And 2 mandatory pit stops, if I didn't mention that already. In the race as well, which means that if somebody does have a bit of an incident there early doors, they'll have the opportunity to come back a little bit because people ahead of them will have to make 2 pit stops still, and they get an early one and maybe stretch a stint out a bit longer. Maybe.
There's the weather currently at the moment, so it is 27 degrees Celsius track temperature. It's not too bad, I'd say pretty ideal there, partly cloudy and not much wind, 2 miles per hour. It's light cars too, are they? So they think the wind would kind of affect them a little bit, but today.
Yeah, I mean, not sure. I mean, GT3s are no better, but I'm not sure. 27 degrees doesn't seem like an overly high temperature, but you generally want it to be a bit lower for the better grip and things once you get the car warmed up. But I was doing a little bit of running in these cars at this track just before we got underway. I was nowhere near the pace of these guys who've probably been practicing all week for this. I just literally did 4 laps. I don't think I even got a valid one in, but I was hitting the 158s, and I'm pretty sure these guys are about 5 or 6 seconds quicker than that, but they've got setups and everything else. It's going to be very interesting to see how qualifying plays out here, though.
Just got to turn off the audio there at the moment. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get any of the drivers coming through the broadcast. There might be some, something like that we can't restream. Anyway, hello, welcome everybody. This is being restreamed, of course, on JPB as well as the Radical Network thing. So, my 2 tends to drop a few little frames with myself and Restream don't tend to get along too well. Get along perfectly fine when it comes to the likes of just streaming to YouTube and to Twitch and all that sort of jazz. I can get rocket speeds, like something that you can send upload data to Mars. That much speed, but when it just comes to Restream, unfortunately, it's something that we don't get together. But here we go. You want to go on board at the moment and give us a hot lap around Sebring from the likes of Paul Crab?
Certainly can, yeah. We've missed turn 1, but that's not a problem. We've got the next corner coming up. It's got a brake late here, take a late apex, and set yourself up for the next complex of corners. This little right-hander into this left-hander. Again, this one's very important to get a good exit from, because it's a long straight down now to the hairpin. And you better carry as much speed as you can down there down into turn 7. And then another very important corner on this track. You've got to brake as late as you can. Get the car turned as late as possible so you get nice and straight on the exit here. So that these 2 corners are no trouble at all. And then it's a little jump and a skip through Fangio down into turn 10, the next hard braking zone. And again there, just after the 3 cones there, taking a nice tight line. And this car can get a little bit squirrely in this sector. The bumps on this track, it just does not like them. It throws the car around a little bit as we come down into Tower now. Turn 13, again a late apex here. Get early on the power and use all of the track on the exit, as this guy does very well there. And then down into this very complicated sector of corners I find here. This is, I think I have the wrong track map here. It's not showing me these corners names, but this is Le Mans, a very important corner to get right, a good place to get an overtake as well in the race, but he manages that nicely there, and we get all the way down to Sunset Bend, another great overtaking spot, and also a spot of many an incident, as the track is very bumpy. You'll see as this guy goes around, he gets onto the bumps and it starts shaking the car around like no tomorrow. You've got to carry a lot of more speed than you believe you can in there as well. And he finally gets it around the final corner there and then crosses the line. And not a bad time at all there from Busan. I think it was 154.7.
Yeah.
So on the ball.
There, yes, you can see. But
Paul,
just about
Paul
a
Crab's
second off. As you can see, those times are starting to roll in. Thank you very much for that. That does take quite a bit to go around here in a radical car, doesn't it? And you said bumpy, especially with the sun that is kind of setting off in the distance. That can really get into your eyes, can't it? And it really makes it difficult to spot, especially, I think you said around, was that Le Mans corner or something, where you try to see your braking point on the track. Yeah, Le Mans is one of those odd ones as well, where you can kind of go off track just before that one as well. You've got to, pretty much, in order to get a very good run through Le Mans. But, yeah, it was Paul Crab that we're on board there with. No, he gets himself up to P6. Decent. Not bad at all. We've got Isaacson, obviously current championship leader, holding pole position at the moment, with McHutchison just behind him. And we had McHutchison, the Scotsman, in the lead of the race for the majority of our time out last time in Zandvoort. And yeah, he got overtaken by Isaacson and then immediately got into a bit of a scrap and a tangle with another driver and came out worst off for it last time out. And hopefully he'll be looking to gain some more points championship-wise this time out. But yeah, it's a tricky track here, Sebring. Yeah, we'll see how Jürgen can hook this one up, because it looks like he's flying, actually. He's got a couple of purple sectors, and that corner he just mentioned there, it's just sweeping around. Look how bumpy he's exactly said that these. Are we off-road cars here, or are we on a road course? Certainly looks like it. And this should be a pretty quick time. Will it be to beat Isaacson? Yes, it does. There it is. What's that baby on
quite a margin. By quite a margin. 3/10 he's beaten him by there. But that is his first lap, so the tracker will have rubbed it in a little bit and come to him a little bit, as that is the case with iRacing and all sim racers. That as the session goes on, the track rubbers in, it lays down a thin veneer of rubber from the tyres, and that gives the drivers a little bit more grip. But that is only to a finite point. Eventually, in some of those extended 12-hour races and the like, eventually you start to lose grip because of so much rubber gets on the track. But I doubt we'll see anything like that in the 90-minute race that we're going to have today. But 3 minutes remaining of qualifying, and yeah, there's a number of times coming in thick and fast. John McHutchison's managed to get it up to P2 after a quick lap, and Dolza gets himself up to P11. Karabelas, who had a great showing last time out, did well, gets up to P10, but you'll be looking to get higher, a little bit higher than that this time out.
Let's see whether or not Adam here from Sweden 276 car can respond to John McHutchison and the team Redline. They're just up with that in P2. And can anybody beat Jürgen's time at the moment? That's 3/10 more than anybody else. We'll see. As we are seeing Swede on his flying lap now. Let's see what times he can do. It's sector 7 now. Split up into 7 sectors here. Just like that down the bottom, sector times. That's not going to be too accurate for us actually to show that, but it's just more of his. It's just comparing it to the other drivers that are nearby.
Through Sunset he goes though, and across the line. And
Oh, that's it.
P2, 52.8.
Yeah, Tim
Well,
Bertie
right.
just got himself up into that P3 position. See whether or not John can respond on that one now.
Purple sector's coming in thick and fast from the top 9 or so drivers at the moment. So it's heating up quite a bit. We've got very tight margins up and down the grid. It's very little separating each driver. Just a couple of bigger gaps here, like a 0.3 between LeMay and Bremer there at the bottom of your screen, and obviously the big one at the top of your screen from between Frank and Isaacson. But Frank seems to be the man to beat. 52.4 that he's put in at the moment. He's sitting pretty at the top of the iRating chart as well, with just over 8k, which is an iRating that I can only dream of. I have to
Here's
say.
the-
1 minute remaining.
The Scotsman? I believe he's the Scotsman, right? He's got a bit of that
Hutchinson, yeah.
Scottish livery there. You can see in the inside you've got to have, oh, look at that overspeed moment there, and you had to correct it.
And he's backed out of it, yeah. Straight out of it, yeah. So, not a good one for him if he's... I mean, it's quite easy to do with this car. It is very she is very lively. Especially the back end. It can very easily slip out, especially under braking, I found as well. Especially at this track as well. With the standard setup that I was using, I imagine these guys have probably worked out a few of those kinks, but the standard setup that I was using just a few minutes before we went live was very tricky under braking. I've got to say, certain areas, if you hit the bump just at the wrong angle as you were braking, it just yeeted the car totally. As mate, getting big sideways there. It's very easy to save as well. It's such a fun car to drive. Very easy to catch these slips, but they do cost you time. And if you do that in the race as well, then the guy next to you doesn't see it coming, then you've just tank slapped it right into him and caused absolute mayhem as well, which is what happened in Zandvoort between Hutchinson and whoever he crashed with. I cannot remember for the life of me who it was that he crashed with though, so I'm not sure if I can see their name here today, but yeah, Tim Bertie gets himself up to P3.
Paul LeMay just improves a little bit there, I think. And that's it for our qualifying session, so the results should come up soon.
Certainly are, and yeah, let's go through those results as they stand. So it is Jürgen Frank from SimRC Beethoven, who's absolutely dominated the proceedings here, got himself onto pole position. And in P2 is Adam Isaacson, the winner last time out. Then P3, Tim Bertie. John Hutchinson there rounds out in P4. Rodolph Nagel in P5. Paul Crabb P6. Mike Bousson P7. Paul LeMay with an excellent qualifying today in P8. Rafael Blanco in P9. And then P10 we've got Stephen Place. Paul Clark in P11. Lucas Dolza in P12. Kyrgiakopoulos in P13. David Walters 14. 15 is Rolliston. And then we've got Menno de Graaf in P16. Ivan Bremer P17, and P18 is for Michael LeMay. And moving on, we've got P19, Thomas Ibas. I think I've got that right, but I don't know how to pronounce a question mark, if I'm honest, and that's what I'm seeing on my screen at the moment. And
Yeah, that's right, it is a question mark. So.
Jorge Gonzaga next in P20, Damien G in P21, Nihad Glusik in P22, Beren Wienik in P23, Jason Duckworth in P24, Stefan Mellis SME in 25, and P26 is Arnie Biehen. 27 is Guy Robson, and 28 is Joseph Emmett.
Yeah, excellent.
I believe that is our grid at the moment. We've got a number of guys who maybe didn't qualify as well, but we'll cross that bridge and we'll come to kind of thing. So, getting ready on the grid there, we have Mr. Jürgen, I believe that is,
yes,
in that race
Mr.
spot
Jürgen.
car, the 176 number on the side. Looks very calm, you've got to say. Not that the drivers don't make much, but we have lights, 4 or 5 lights ready to go. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights, and we're about to go live at the Sebring Grand Prix, and away we go. It looks like a good start for Frank, and he's got away very well, but close on his tail already is Isaacson and Tim Bertie, already getting round into P2, up into P2 there, and it looks like a clean, nice line through turn 1. A bit of a wiggle there for the guys behind. I've got very poor liveries here, not showing up properly at all, but it looks like it's clean so far through turn 1. No major dramas, no offs, no big spins, accidents, and there's a bit of contact there, and the blue carpet's gone around, and it looks as though that is Kyrgiakopoulos, who has gone into the gravel and the grass, and that is not ideal, but his car looks in decent nick. He doesn't have too much damage. That is not ideal from him, but Frank still leads the way. 4 tenths, 5 tenths gap now to P2, Bertie, who managed to get the jump on Isaacson into turn 1 and has managed to solidify that P2 position in his name. Decent start.
Yep, absolutely. Good to have to say, just a couple of drivers going around, but that's kind of what you would expect as everybody's charging themselves into the first couple of turns. But the rest of the field looks like they got through there quite well, and there's a couple of battles brewing at the moment. Here is Rafael Blanco.
Yeah, we've got G dropping down the order at the moment, but lost him already off the standings on the left-hand side of the screen there. And yeah, some battling going on up and down the field. Some great defensive work being shown as well. As, drivers defend their inside line, keep things at bay.
Oh
so
yeah,
Blanco
who's gone deep?
That's Bremer there. Looks like he's gone off.
Yeah, there's Bremer.
And lost a few positions because of it.
Oh, this is close at the top end. Look at this now. So it's the teammates.
Oh, that is indeed.
Simracing, Beethoven between them both. And look at that. That's actually Adam that snuck on through. Sorry. Yeah.
Certainly.
So look at this.
Yeah,
all 3 team members are here leading this race.
Wonder if these guys are in VC together as well. And we've got Simracing and Simracing Beethoven. Yeah, we've got Jürgen Frank with Beethoven and Tim Bertie with Beethoven, 2 Germans in the same team. And then we've got splitting the difference between them. We've got Adam Isaacson getting himself batting into his P2 position that he will rightly think he deserves after getting that in qualifying. And yeah, gets himself in between those Beethoven men.
We've got a couple of drivers have gone down to pit road at the moment. So Paul Clark's gone down there. Dennis Kalopoulos, I think there. Bernard has gone in there as well. So yeah, maybe some early pit stops. Maybe some damage. I wouldn't imagine too much damage, but
it might be. It's early doors as well, though, because of the mandatory 2 mandatory pit stops.
That's
here.
Right, yeah.
Because you can't pit early, and everybody else in front still has to pick a pit stop as well. We've got to move there on. That is looks like it's Rolliston going around Bremer, was it, or was it? Yeah,
Irvin. Yeah, Erwin Bremer. Yeah, exactly. You're right, David. And Owen trying there, I think, there on David.
Yeah, not a bad move around the outside, but it looks as though Bremer is not giving up easy. He's trying to sneak back up the inside, but nothing doing as it stands.
So there's that other take just in the background there.
It seems to have calmed down a little bit. A little bit of swap there from Gonzaga and Walters in the background as well. Looks as though that's
he's
just,
blinking.
Somebody blinking, yeah, that is a nightmare for driver behind. I have to say, I was dealing with that today as well. The guy was nice enough in my GT3 race to just give up the position and not fight it and let me pass, which was very nice of him. But I can't imagine this. Oh, there's somebody off there. That looks like Blanco off on the grass out of Le Mans and losing positions left and right as he loses a great deal of time there. And he's going to lose another one to Graf as well. Costly mistake from him. It cost him 3 positions there.
Yeah, it did. That's just that little off-track moment, isn't it? And just like that, especially at the level of competition and how close everybody is. Further back at the moment, there's a little bit of a few battles brewing here. That is slow and confused at the moment there with confused the question mark going to pit road.
So yeah, people going into the pits early there, just trying to get their pit stops. The mandatory pit stops in early as well. That's looks like Paul Crabb is in the pits as well. He's dropping down the order quite rapidly on my timing screen. But the story so far is the gap at the front has elongated a little bit there. Frank's managed to gain a whole second over Isaacson, and Isaacson has now gained a whole second over Bertie as well. So I'm wondering if this is part of these guys' plan, or whether they talk to each other and they've created these gaps on purpose to not give toes to the guys behind the Hutchinson. All over the back of Bertie though, looking at very aggressive as things stand. And we've also got Poussin all over the back of May as well, who's managed to gain a place from the start. But Rollison and Graf both at 4 positions, and Robinson down in P20 has gained 7. Which is huge news.
Exactly.
Bremer up 7 as well. That's pretty. I almost missed him out. Bremer there in P10, up 7 positions. Fantastic racing there.
A few little moments, wasn't it? Because we know this Rafael Blanco there had a little bit of off-track excursion, and that's why he's dropped 4. And there's Delza behind there has dropped a couple of places, but they're trying to make this one back, as you can see on your screen.
Certainly are. I mean, there's a couple of places you can get a slowdown here at Sebring, but they're not usual. Not like say Red Bull Ring, which I've been racing all week this week, and I think I've got to slow down every single race I've done. Oh, look at that! A bit of the grass consumed there from Dolza, and he's now got LeMay right up his backside. This is a different May than the P7 May, but I believe they might be the 2 brothers team.
Correct.
I could be wrong with that, but yeah, it looks like they are. So looking to gain positions, but 53.9 fastest lap comes in from Frank, who is absolutely running away with this at the moment. 2.3 seconds the gap there, but we've got a turn move going into turn 1 as is Graf and Blanco going side by side, and the inside line proves very, very powerful there as looks like Blanco gets the move nicely done. We've got brilliant camera angle there. Terrific camera from you there, I have to say.
Yeah, you get better half the time. James is a lot better at me at this because he does it almost like 3 times a day every day. But yeah, that's the beauty of the software that we have. Some special tools that are part of the JPB network that not everybody has. And,
yeah, looks like
it's battle up. Yeah, I don't think at the moment that John's been able to do anything about the SimRC trio up the road. That's the 1, 2, and 3. Jürgen leading there from Ickerson and then Birdie. So
I mean, we're only 8 minutes into a 90-minute race. There's no rush yet. There's a lot of racing still to be had, a lot of mistakes still to be made, and so far,
concentration
terrific racing
on his face there at the moment. He's just trying to do his best. Give us a wave there, John.
Your vision's a lot better than mine to see through that tinted visor, but I have to say the graphics have improved considerably since I first started with iRacing. Maybe not the best looking sim racing game out there. I think sometimes ACC can look absolutely gorgeous.
It can, yeah.
But this one is definitely not to be sniffed at, especially the lighting at times.
Oh
and,
yeah,
with the rain.
It is getting a lot better, and it also depends on your GPU and your computer as well, so you can really crank it. I've got most of this cranked up to the best. You can tweak a little bit more, but it's difficult in certain races, of course. So you drop frames when you go into, say, nighttime racing, and you have a field of 50 or 60 cars on there. That's when it can start, burning through your transistors on your GPU.
Certainly. I mean, I'm rocking a 980 Ti, just to kind of give you an idea of how behind on the times I am in terms of GPU.
Here's an accident, I think, or a moment here from Andy. I don't know if that's just a register of a little bit of an off-track excursion, or has it gone too deep into the air? Let's have a look. There's a rear end lock up and slip there, and there's hopefully it gets back off the racing end. He's okay. Good to see.
Maybe a bit of an issue on my side, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not seeing that on my screen.
Oh yeah,
but,
sometimes unfortunately those replay systems don't show too well on your end. Too much you can do about that.
Nothing to worry about in the end, but yeah, it's just between us really. But yeah, that's not gone well for him, that little spin, but he gets back and going in short order, so could have been worse.
Is this a little bit dinged up at the back here? The car up the road there of Ralston?
Yeah, maybe.
It looks a bit dinged up, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Maybe that ring's not quite straight as well, and there's a bit of a kink in between the brake lights on the back of that car there as well. I wonder if Blanco has maybe got a bit too exuberant on in a braking zone there, and given his own buttocks a wee bit of a sniff. But that is not going to affect the car too much, I don't believe, because it's at the back of the car. The aero, it definitely gets more affected if it's front or hits that wing. But that wing does look okay for the time being. Maybe just a little bit of a love tap there.
Yeah, you're right. Look at the gap too at the moment there that Jürgen's got on 2.7 seconds. He's sitting there at the moment going, I hope that I'm still connected to the server because I can't see any cars now. Yes, you can, and I'm finally on the main straightaway. Yeah, you got to worry sometimes, don't you, if you're alone on a track and you're like, I haven't seen anybody in a while, so I hope once again I'm still in this in the server, but. It must be a good feeling, of course, to have that track all by yourself. Must feel like you're in solo qualifying. It
definitely makes things a little bit easier with having that gap behind. It takes a little bit of the pressure off. You can make the odd mistake here and there, but he's got to keep focused, stay on the ball, because if he makes one or two mistakes, and that could let Isaacson back in, and then once he's back in and he has the toe, then maybe he won't be able to get away so easily the second time. Now that Isaacson is up to speed and doesn't have anybody else alongside him pushing him as well. But Birdie is closed the gap on Isaacson, and McHutchinson is right behind them both. It looks like Hutchinson's going to go for the inside here. Now. He's going to go for the move. He's outbraked him, and he's got that done brilliantly there. Not sure which corner that is into, but it looks as though it is possibly Cunningham, I believe. So, but that is an unusual place to overtake, and he's got it done brilliantly there. Birdie caught napping, maybe, or maybe he just didn't want to defend it. Not
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know, because he had backed off there. And now Paul Crabbed here, the Irishman's trying to think about the same. Going to be dropping a couple of places. It looks like we've had a moment here from David. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's Rolliston. He's around with his Tiger livery.
That was the dinged up, bro. It's a little bit more dinged up now, too.
Yeah,
David?
he's definitely got some damage on the front now. It's not looking too pretty. That Tiger has a squash nose.
And this is a moment earlier. I know you probably might not be able to see this one correctly, but you can look it back on the YouTube channel, and that's Joseph, I think, going... yeah, ooh, that's strange. It just goes completely left on that one. Anyway, he does get back on the track. Back to the action. John's now just kind of stepped it up a little bit because what's his gap? It's under a second there to Adam Mickelson. But still, Paul Crabb is definitely trying to think about getting a bit of Tim Burney as well.
Yeah, I did see that incident there on the replay on my phone as I'm watching the stream that we broadcast at the same time. And yeah, I did that in the practice session before we got started here. And if you hit that curb on the left-hand side before Le Mans, just a bit wrong, and you're braking at the same time, it can really unsettle the car and send your the back end into overdrive, and it just overtakes you. So that's what he's done there, so I can easily see how he's managed that, having done it myself already once today.
Just to confirm, just to ask, because I told you this before, you know, I own almost every car and every track, but never driven a single lap before in my life, as I just to do this purely for commentating broadcasting. Are the Radical cars free? Or you have to pay?
They are, yeah. These ones are, yes.
Yeah.
The SR10 isn't.
Okay.
But, according to the chat in Discord from these guys beforehand, is the SR10 is basically undrivable as it stands at the moment. It doesn't feel like a car. And this one definitely, yeah, the SR8 is a lot of fun to drive. It's very lively. It moves around a lot underneath you, and it's very easy to catch when that happens as well. But if you get it wrong, like I think Jason did there, and you brake in the wrong curb or hit a bump too hard, it is ruthless and it will just spin you around. The other side of it as well is that it's quite difficult to really damage it. A couple of bits of dings here and there definitely cost you a bit of time, but it's not quite like some of the Formula cars, like the Formula 3.5 or the Formula W12. If it gets hit by a swift breeze, it is out the race. Yeah. These can take a bit more punishment for sure. They definitely do not like bumps, though. I've noticed that when I was practicing in it.
Well, if they're so light too, they just lift them up in the air, wouldn't it? And then your 4 points of contact that you kind of need to called tyres start having no contact anymore.
Yeah.
Welcome along to Ben out there. So Ben Arnold dance at a good sized grid again. Great work. Yep, great work to the league, of course. That's Radical Sim Racing. It's radicalsimracing.com. The links are in the description. If you want to be a part of the community. Once again, it's as you said, it's a free car. You said it's a fun car to drive. So it seems like a very fun series, of course, to get involved with without having to break your bank balance.
That's certainly not for the car. I mean, some of the tracks will definitely set you back a bit, but it's also being raced on a lot of the very popular tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
So yeah, you definitely at some point, aren't you, in the future, going to definitely even get other cars and race on those tracks again and again and again. Once in I had to purchase one track, I think, the other day for a league, and other than that, I haven't purchased anything well over a month or two before that because I already own them. And once again, everybody keeps going back to the same track, which is great. So I have to buy them again.
Always handy, especially with the cost of iRacing at times.
Yeah,
it can
like
be
this,
very, very expensive.
I guess you ask people too if you are new. That's what I did. I asked a lot of drivers who were in leagues. I said, okay, give me a list of the tracks that I should be buying that a lot of people go to, and then that worked out quite well. And once again, if you're new to iRacing, buy 3 at a time so you get the discount. If you don't automatically get the discount that you do after a certain amount of money that you've purchased, items you've purchased.
There's a number of ways you can reduce the costs. Buying in bulk is one way. Also waiting for Black Friday sales to get some credit or gift cards in then, as well as your membership as well. I haven't seen it for a while, but I have heard of it in the past, whereby in the Black Friday sale, sometimes they give discounts off gift cards, which then means that you can buy the gift card, use the iRacing dollars from the gift card to buy content for a little bit cheaper than you would have had to spend.
Yeah,
normally.
okay.
But I haven't seen that for a while now. But I've only recently come back to iRacing. But Birdie is looking very racy at the moment, trying to catch up to the back of McHutchinson, who got him with that earlier dive. But Hutchinson hasn't been able to gain too much. Oh, he's trying to get alongside there.
I was going to say, he's going to have to do it soon because he's got Paul, the company behind. And so yeah, Tim's in the middle. So he's the SimRC Beethoven team. And where I board right now, Paul Grab, and then of course you've got John and their team Radline. So they're working together as teammates. And of course, the SimRC are leading 1 and 2 up the road. So yeah, once again, Tim Birdie must feel like he's in a little bit of a Radline sandwich right now. But
certainly is, yeah. That's going to put the pressure on him because he's got pressure from behind, and he's got a kind of a car in front of him, parking it on apexes where he doesn't want it to be parked, and causing him all sorts of issues. But he needs to get his elbows out.
Check out the rear wing there of Michael Hutchison. The Hutch. I like it. And I presume he's got a Fanatec wheel. I know that he likes Fanatec. He's got the sponsor logo on there.
Not sure my trading paints is working quite correctly, but I can see, Touch Team Radline on there, so it must be doing something, my trading paints. But I've seen a lot of yellow cars, which I thought maybe we'd see a bit more variation between the colours of the cars, but I'm guessing yellow is just not everybody's favourite colour.
It's their team, though, because a lot of the teammates are on there, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's just the Sim. You do have the SimRC Mozart team here. So we've got Mozart and we have Beethoven. So yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to get a Toto Wolff one as well. It's just, they're all the likes that come. You said you're in Red Bull or Red Bull, right? Ring this previously, doing some laps. Well, that's where Beethoven and Mozart come from, as well as I said, Toto Wolff and Arnold Schwarzenegger also come from that neck of the woods. Yeah, don't know what to talk about the Formula 1 GP if you watched it or not. That's certainly an interesting one.
Well, I certainly did watch it. Yeah, I was up at the crack of dawn to get onto the time schedule that you Australians call normal. I don't know why.
It's not normal,
Anybody
mate. It's
thought
definitely
that was...
not normal. It was the worst for me to watch your European races and the Americas races when I was growing up in Australia as a kid, because it's on Sunday night late. And you got school the next day, so yeah. Hey, we had to suffer, okay? You had to suffer, what, 3 races a year? Actually, no, not even Singapore. Japan and Australia, that's it. Singapore's on later, of course, being a nighttime race, so that's the only time you have to suffer.
Well, excuse me for being born in the right area of the world.
Well, you are the official time zone right next to you, of course. That's the international date line. So you did invent that, so yeah.
We did, yeah. We invented time. Us Brits invented time. Nobody in Germany gets to eat their lunch until we say it's 4 o'clock.
That's true.
So I can't take credit for that joke. That is a famous comedian's joke.
Oh, really?
To know, yeah, it is. It's not plagiarism. It's just a tip of the hat to them. But yeah, I did watch the F1. It was extremely entertaining, and lots of people are unhappy with the rules of F1 these days, I've got to say.
I mean, I'm debatable about the confusion of that. I got very, very confused because, spoiler alert, if anybody has not seen it, then just close your ears there for a little bit and tune out. But I didn't understand after, like, the first, there was 3 set restarts, right? Red flag. The first 2 restarts, of course, you do a standing still start, okay? If they deem it safe, which it was, of course, because it's dry, there's no rain, nothing on the track. But they did it without the safety car on the first 2 restarts. No safety car. But they decided to use a safety car for the 3rd restart. I couldn't get my head around that because the track was clean and it wasn't dangerous. So why did they do that? Obviously, they still would have just followed. They still would have done a standing start, right? Even if they did a standing start, everybody would have crossed the line anyway because it's right there. So it still probably would have finished in the exact same positions. But I couldn't. That's the only thing I couldn't understand about the safety car restart there.
I think that's the only reason they did it, really, because it honestly, like, I suppose by the letter of the law, you should do a standing start, and everybody should race to the finish line, which is the start line.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there. So, like, literally, Max just had to move. I don't know.
He could put it in. He could put it in 6th gear and just go, and you've already got won the race at that point because he's right on the line. Yeah, I think you're right. That's probably
if he stalled it.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. You also got an opportunity of somebody perhaps making a mistake off the line.
Yeah, or an Alpine not starting, for example. The less said about that, the better. Shall we say?
But then everything else,
it was an interesting
the
one,
debate about had to work out, what are they deciding, which sector was that they called the race before the red flag. All that, of course, has been up for debate, and will be up for debate for a lot of time, as the teams that didn't benefit from it will no doubt be protesting. The teams that did benefit from it won't be protesting.
They've got all these mini sectors and everything else. They can tell the order of the cars as soon as the red flag comes out. They could use that, or they could just say whatever crosses the sector 1 timing line first, that's the order, which would have put Alonso at the back. He wouldn't have been best pleased about it. But honestly, I feel as though that the penalties that were issued to people in that half a sector of racing feel a lot harsher because the race was reset anyway. So they've got a penalty for racing that technically didn't count. Particularly Carlos. Ooh, that's a big spin there.
That's Lucas actually into the
hitting
fence.
That curve.
And I believe he's happened again twice. So I'll go back through this one because he's come back on track, and then he's come back off track again, I believe. So just not having the best of days. So that's just probably a little bit extra on that one. So I don't know how much damage that there is, but he is in pit road right now. So we shall see. We still yet to see pit road anyway from some of our leaders boxing.
Certainly haven't. No, we've still got Bertie and Crab in formation behind McCutchinson, and
who's
nothing
that?
Doing there.
Who's that screaming on the background there? Are they just lapping that car in the way?
I think could be. Yeah, I think it's just a lapped car getting out of the way.
It is. I just got confused there for a second. I'm like, damn, it's quick, but it was been lapped. Well, Frank is still leading this one up the road. Look at that. He's now got a 4.6 second, and he just set the fastest lap on that last lap. So he's got more pace to find in that car, and hopefully to find somebody else on the track to see soon. Once again, being so far up. You can see how much that car lifts, isn't it, at that final corner if you really do run it wide and come up a bit of an elevation banking, isn't it?
It can be very, very dangerous, the bumps and the undulations on this track. If you don't know where they all are and you get a bit wide or offline and hit one too hard, especially in this car, it can be a real issue. So I hope these guys have done plenty of practice. A number of people are getting caught out, I have to say, by that inside left-hand curb in Le Mans as well. That's caught a number of people out, gets them spinning straight towards a barrier. And it's a big spin that you end up in as well. So best of the mistakes being made left and right. We're 25 minutes deep, almost a third of the way through this 90-minute race. Still a long time to go, but obviously Frank is dominating as things stand. But anything can happen. A 90-minute race takes a lot of concentration to keep the lapping going that long.
Well, this is long. Let you know what's happened there. Joseph Emmett here has had a moment. So as you said, anything can happen. He's a bit of a lonely race back here in P27, and that's just a spin. I know you'll have to see that replay probably in about 30 seconds or something like that, but that's just one of those classic moments.
Some of them work for some reason.
Okay.
Some of them do work, so this one worked.
Excellent.
And it looks like he's maybe picked up the throttle a little too early there, and not gone well for him. Nobody that was in the tower as well, so or between Cunningham and Collier curve, I believe it was actually. But tricky track to commentate on this one because there's so many different corner names and turn numbers and things like that. I think that if you look at one website, it's totally different to the next website as well. But some of the easier ones are the most common ones, such as this one, Sunset Bend. I believe this one's called.
That makes sense because if you just saw the sun right there, you get smacked in the face with it. I mean, I know that you guys in the UK don't see the sun very often. It is there, believe me. It's a big ball of helium and nitrogen, isn't it? So it does exist. It peeks out those clouds every once in a while in the UK, so you get to see it. I mean, we see it all too much in Australia. We're kind of sick of it after a while.
I mean,
it burns you.
You see so much of it. You still don't know that it's helium and hydrogen, though. So I don't want to rain on your physics parade and lecture, but yeah, it's helium and hydrogen. Nitrogen is what makes up the majority of
right. I forgot the two most common elements in the in the universe. I should pretty much know that one, but yeah, you're right. James actually mentioned something really funny the other day. It's like, look at the battle up the road there. That's actually, that's Bernie. They're trying to make a run once again on John. Now, John got past him early, he said. Now, And see that on the rear wing there of John's car, it says, chill, it's a long race. I like that. Good on you there, John. It is a long race. And got to be in it to win
Certainly
it.
is.
But James, casting with James, I think yesterday for we had the endurance series, he's like, well, how do you know the temperature of the sun? Have you been there? Have you got a fold-out chair there and measure it? So you're just guessing. You know those little temperature laser things that you have, James? You had, especially during COVID, but they had to point it on your skin there and see what your temperature was. I kind of think that's how they do it, but not with that. Of course, there's different ways of measuring it, but just messing around. Look at that sun. I believe, too, Stephen, that some of the drivers say in VR, that is very, very blinding.
I can imagine. So VR does look a bit better, but down the inside goes Bert. He's going to get into the Sunset Bend. And it doesn't look as though John was fighting that particularly hard either. He just kind of gave it up. He knows that he can't defend it too aggressively because he's just going to cost them both time. And there is his teammate Crab behind now as well. Maybe he's going to give the position up to him and let him have a go at
That's a good idea. I think that might be, you might be right, because they are teammates. So they're definitely going to try to work together. Another interesting thing I wanted to mention is that when you do see the cars down the straightaway there, it kind of looks like they have undercar glowing lights. They don't. It's just the way that the sunshine is reflecting underneath. As you can see how John goes up onto the chicane there, as Paul Crab didn't. Paul Crab seemed to be like a little bit more smoother through there. Now you can see that sun right now, the haze of it's really starting to blind even me as a spectator mode. The drivers probably don't sometimes have the graphics absolutely cranked because they want to get maximum frame rate, stuff like that. Plus, also, it would be easier to see the track, wouldn't it, if you don't have all the bells and whistles turned on for graphic settings?
There's always been a trick or two with graphical settings in most games, and yeah, that can help you out in certain circumstances. I'm trying to think of a few games like particularly Ark Survival Evolved, maybe, where when it's dark you can up the gamma rate and then you can see in the dark where you shouldn't normally be able to see.
A lot of that.
But one thing I have noticed here though is that into the hairpin, turn 7 at the bottom of Gurney Bend, McCutchinson twice in a row, 2 laps in a row, he went a bit deep there and got a bit out of shape. And now that Bertie's in front, he did the same thing. And I wonder if it's just catching these guys out that downforce on the car is a bit more pronounced when braking in clean air compared to the guy braking behind the guy in front. Obviously, these cars do use a bit of downforce. That's what that big black wing is there for. But it's not very much, really. Not compared to, say, like an F1 car or an F3 car or an Ackino. So I think even the Skip Barber's probably got more downforce than these, and it's got practically none. But it does mean that when you're following somebody behind, you can't quite go as fast as them in the corners, but you're a lot quicker on the straights. Makes a big difference. You've got Place going into the pit lane. I wonder if that is his first of his mandatory pit stops.
Yes.
Just over an hour remaining as well. So I think a number of people are going to be looking to go for the pits now. Split this up into nice even segments of 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Stints, do 2 pit stops, one 30 minutes in, another one an hour in, and then go to the end. But I imagine that some other people might have actually done some homework and worked out the best way to get the sectors in perfect. So I don't think anybody's going to be changing tyres, I believe. Somebody was talking about this in general chat before the race began and posted a picture of their tyres after 90 minutes, and they looked in good nick, 50-odd% wear. So I imagine everybody's still going to be able to go with the full 90 minutes on these tyres.
And
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that at some point in history of particularly F1 I'm talking about here in motorsport, they have actually designed tyres that could basically do the whole race. The only reason that we have the tyre situation that we do on F1 at the moment is to make it interesting strategy-wise.
Yes, exactly.
Am I making that up? Or
No, you're exactly right. Because remember a few seasons back in Formula 1, I think it's more than a few seasons now, but they had the ultra softs, the super softs, the hyper softs, and they were stretching like the really thin parts of the compound, and they had all that. And I think one of the reasons as to why they changed that, because it got very confusing, I think, for the audiences. Even myself, they're kind of wondering what's quicker, an ultra soft or a super soft or a hyper. Like that.
It was a bit much. I mean, they're all still there. They're just called C1 to 5 now, and then they change soft, medium, hard, depending on the track.
Yes.
So So obviously something like Silverstone, which is a high degradation track, high speed corners, you get the harder 3 sets of tyres, or you can have the middle set 3 for something like, I don't know, Austria, where it's less degradation, some high speed corners, but not a great deal of hard braking zones. Then you've got obviously the very, very low degradation tracks, such as Spain, I suppose. I'm trying to think of a low degradation track at F1. There isn't really one, is there, to be honest. Suppose we just had Australia, which had very low degradation, even for Ferrari, which is a very difficult word to say without a tooth in the middle of your face.
I think they used the C4s in Australia.
Ah, so it is. Yeah. Okay. So
Singapore, you'd probably be used the C5s. So, which is your softest of the tyre compound. So, yeah, something like that. Hey, interesting. Here's an overtake, actually. So, this is a battle for position. Battle of the Brits here. And that's Paul LeMay there on Andy. But is that Behan? There it is. So, it hasn't been a great deal of overtaking, but that's one right there.
So then he is, and I'm wondering if stops are showing on my timing screen. I don't believe they are. But,
I'll show you at the moment. I'll pull it up there so we get an idea of those pit stops that people have taken, and there you have it.
Yeah, there's going to be a number of people who are out of position a wee bit here. We've got obviously May, who's just been lapped by the looks of things there with one stop, but he's going to unlap himself when the front runners all stop. We've got Place is the highest runner who has stopped in P12 there at the moment, 3.5 seconds off Walters as it stands. But lots of action going on track at the moment as the lapped cars struggling to get out of the way and causing problems for people. That's going to become a running theme throughout a 90-minute race as the quicker guys catch up with the slower guys. And I mean, it's squeaky bum time all around because the guys at the back getting lapped don't want to be that guy that takes out the leader of the race. A bit of a bump into the wall there from Mr. Crab. That was a shocking jolt to the system for him. And I imagine
look how much time has lost him just by that little bit. It was tucked up in the gearbox, so definitely.
Yeah, it might cost him time indefinitely for the rest of the race if that causes him a little bit of damage there on his front left as well. Very easy to do. You've got to get very close to that wall in turn 1 in order to get a nice smooth and fast line through there, and very, very tricky corner I've found. A lot easier than the GT3s, but it's a tricky corner to get right because you've got to be very precise with where you're hitting your apex. And if you get it wrong, like Mr. Crab just did, it can spell disaster. I mean, sometimes bumping that wall doesn't do too much, just kind of bumps you back onto the racing line a bit, gives you a little bit of aero damage. Other times, it can stop the front left of the car dead and spin the back end around in front of you into the other side, into the wall as well, and cause absolute carnage behind. Because let me tell you, if you're following somebody through on that line, it's very difficult to change your line in that corner, mid-corner, without really unsettling the car. Having to get on the brakes mid-corner there on that kind of long sweeping left-hander can be very problematic.
Now, Stephen,
Walters,
just to think about it, you know how these tyres have they have the wheel covers, right, over the tyres. Just to let you know, this is something that they're planning on introducing in Formula 1. It's one of those tech talk shows that you can watch on the F1 TV channel if you have a subscription. There's an Italian guy that goes through and just talks about the different things. He might talk about the flag system. He might talk about, the DRS system or something like that. He'll physically show the parts and do that sort of stuff on camera with one of the presenters. I can't remember her name. They usually do the paddock talks and stuff. He was talking recently about a little cover. You know, on your bicycle, on a motorbike or on a bicycle, how you have the wheel cover so that the mud and stuff doesn't flick up back onto you from the tyre.
Yeah,
from the water.
And
so the spray, of course, out of the Formula 1 cars is, you know how crazy it is in the wet weather conditions. But they're thinking about introducing this attachment, like a little wheel cover, tiny little wheel cover that goes over the rear wings, the rear wheels, and so it cuts back most of that splash, a lot of that spray that comes out of the back of the car, so it'll make visibility a lot better in wet weather racing. And something that
I'm all for that, yeah.
And it looks quite cool.
I'm all for that.
That's what they're planning on doing, and making it so that, if it's going to be a wet weather race or something, that the drivers can put that on. And then
I'm all for that. To be honest,
so
anything that improves the racing in F1, I am all for. The new regulations have definitely improved racing a little bit, but they kind of went backwards a little bit in terms of how close the cars can follow with the anti-porpoising information regulations that they've introduced at the beginning of this year. But yeah, anything that improves racing, I am all for. And obviously, we've seen before, especially in Japan, last time out in Suzuka, it was an absolute nightmare for the drivers. And we generally see a very good camera angle in terms of spray as well, because we're seeing it from top-down views generally, helicopter cams and blimp cams and things like that kind of thing, drone cams and things like that kind of thing. When you're looking down onto the track, it looks as though, wow, it's just not that bad. It's just a big plume of spray behind the cars. But when you're in the car behind and there's rain spraying up on the car in front, you can literally not see 2 feet in front of your face. So it makes it very, very difficult and dangerous to race in those kind of conditions. And anything that you do to improve that and let us, you know, prevent us from having things like Spa 2021, I'm all for. This brings us neatly into the segue into iRacing's rain system as well. I don't know how much you've heard about that.
Was there April Fool's thing about that one? As real quick there, look at Raphael's steering his face right now. That's Skeletor, isn't it? Skeletor, I believe they're from the He-Man series. Yeah, so that's very good. Every once in a while you get to see some really snazzy helmets, and GG's to that one, my friend.
Takes me back to my youth. That was one of my favourite shows when I was a wee lad. Used to love He-Man.
And you got Beastman and what's the tiger's name again? He's actually I can't remember. It's the Castle of Grayskull. That was a big selling toy in the 80s and stuff like that as well. And I had a couple of those.
It was one of my favourites, honestly, and I can't remember a thing about it at all.
Did you know? I think it was that one. They came out as action figures first. Right, so they came out as action figures and they were popular. And I remember as a kid going, "What is this?" You know, they were really, good action. Like, you had your GI Joes, I think, stuff like that. But these were like bigger, and they had all the whole set where you had your Castle Grayskull and all that jazz. And it became popular that they ended up having to make booklets that came out with them because there was no story when it first came out. You just had your characters. Nobody knew anything. It's not like usually it always came like Star Wars or something like that come from a movie or from a cartoon series or something, so then they make the product after it. This came from the opposite way around, as we're looking at Overtake actually right now.
Certainly is. That's Rudolf Nagel going on to Crab there. Crab has been struggling since he hit that wall, and he's got a bit of rear wing damage, you can see there, from hitting that wall in turn 1, and it's costing him big time now. Look at the time he's lost to McHutchinson, who he was within 1 second of when he hit that wall, and now already a 2-second gap to McHutchinson. So that damage is costing him time, a hand over fist, not going his way at all. We've also got Place, who has made a stop so far all over the back of LeMay at the moment, and looking racier as well. So still lots of action to be had here. Crab doesn't look as though he's going to be able to win this place back from Nagel as Place goes around the outside in Sunset.
That was complete, Michael, that's because Michael's just jumped in the pit road right there. That's the reason why here.
Certainly has, yeah. So we're starting to see lots of people looking to make their earliest pit stop now. I wonder how much fuel people filled up with at the start of the race. Whether they filled up full fuel, we will never know, I suppose, until we ask them in interviews and see what kind of people's strategies were like. We've got some more action here as Crab is looking to try and get the place back from Skeletor. Look at that skull. That looks amazing.
I can't remember the sound that it used to do, but
I was pretty close, I have to say.
Anyway, to finish that off, they ended up making a TV series, cartoon series from that eventually because they figured out the popular. And as kids are going, yeah, great, we got a little storybook of 5 pages of something happening, but we want to see more, and that ended up happening. And they made a horrible movie, I think, too, in the 90s. Did they have Dolph Lundgren or something his name was that played He-Man?
Couldn't tell you.
Watch really. It's horrible. Well, we still got watching some racing. Look at that 5-second gap up the road there from Frank over the Atkinson. So Frank still was putting in some great laps, 53s. He had the fastest lap. I mean, that's
sharp. I think it might be because I was watching my my favourite football team today, Newcastle United. Absolutely clobber Manchester United. It was absolutely brilliant. There's the Swedish guy who plays for Newcastle United called Isak. So I'm wondering if it's Isaacson rather than Isaacson.
You're right. It would be Isaacson, yes. I call it Isaacson. Well, Ericsson's a very popular name in Sweden, as you'd be aware of. But Isaacson's, I think, yeah.
Let's blame him. Yeah, it's Ericsson's fault we got Isaacson's name wrong. So always blame Ericsson if possible. It was Ericsson, I think he hit us. If anybody doesn't know the reference, you need to scrub up on your F1 history because somebody crashed into a wall and then blamed it on a guy who was nowhere near him.
He's remember he won the IndyCar, didn't he? 500.
I don't know. I don't follow the IndyCar.
Oh yeah, but he's in the IndyCar now.
Where good drivers go to no.
I've said this before. I didn't want to do it actually because one day I might be casting IndyCar. That I was saying exactly. It's like that when you're overage in like Formula One or other motorsports, you can still go on IndyCar because you can drive that thing if you're 50.
Oh, got somebody off the track there at the moment. I believe that's probably somebody getting lapped.
No, it's Michael LeMay. Has had a moment.
Michael LeMay. Let's have a look at the replay. Yeah.
And this is probably the classic of going, oh, that's just a real slow into that corner. That's interesting what happened there with Michael LeMay there, two brothers. He's pulled off completely. So I wonder if that's like a technical problem he has with the car. Look, he's not getting on the speed completely.
I'm not sure what's going on there at all. That is very baffling. Why has he stayed off the track for so long when he could have got back on it
something technical.
Then he's off again.
Yeah, he's letting probably people through here. I'd say that looks to me like that's maybe something technical, right? Like something's
like
come loose on your rig, or you got kids and they're jumping all over you, or trying to pull your rig apart or something as you're driving. It's definitely something like that for sure. Because he's back onto the power there normal.
Yeah, it looks like he's got going again. I imagine he's just probably pulled off, just sorting out the cat, or as you say, pulling the child off his
because
back,
the garbage man's there, so he's just put the car on autopilot.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best explanation we can come up with as it stands at the moment, but it looks like Crab is doing a very good job here of sticking with Nagel. Rudolph.
Nagel, maybe? Yeah, you're right. I think maybe because when he was braking the air with that little bit of wing damage, it was probably struggling with it, but in the dirty air, it's a little bit better for him, so yeah, definitely keeping up. That's Paul Crab we're talking about.
Yeah, Walter's now in the pit lane as well. We've still got a number of drivers who have not stopped. Guessing a lot of these drivers who haven't stopped, they've probably just fueled the car up full. It's worth remembering as well that you cannot serve your mandatory pit stop, according to the rules, in the last 10 minutes of the race.
Oh, well, we've got 46 to go, so we're good for now.
Good for now, but it does mean that some of these guys may have to do 2 pit stops in quick succession, so they might be coming in for just a very frugal sip of fuel and then straight out again to do a very quick stint and then back in before that 10-minute marker at the end of the race. So that you probably can, I don't know whether this for sure, but you can still pit in the last 10 minutes, especially if you need to for fuel or anything.
I can't even see the car up the road barely with that light.
Oh, that glare is horrible.
I don't know how your settings are because yours will be looking at your iRacing, but that is almost very difficult to even see the corner. That's why that's what they call it, isn't it? The Sunrise Corner?
Sunset Bend is where the sun drops down into, and it's typical. It's especially in those long races. I was watching a 12-hour race with Basic Ollie the other week, and him in the LMDH, and around here it's very tricky the way the track conditions change. Sky changes and the darkness sets in, and becomes a tough track in the day, never mind at night or when the sun's blinding you as you go into every difficult corner as well, because Sunset Bend is not an easy corner to get right at all. There are about 12 different lines you can take through there, and all of them are perilous with the bumps in that corner, and the guys behind as well, especially if you're racing side by side, can really cause a lot of pressure and really mess your thinking up about what you're going to do. And if you're concentrating too much on the guy behind and you're not looking where you're going, it's quite easy to veer off, end up in the wall on the outside. And if you get it wrong on the inside as well, get a bit too tight to the inside, catch the wrong bump there, it'll spend you in a spin right into the pit wall, which has happened to me in a practice session or two, I have to say.
I mean, these guys... Is it Molio? He says kebab and Biggles. Question mark. You are absolutely correct. It is kebab and myself. The dream combo. Well, thank you very much.
Certainly is. You might remember that fella, also known as Joel from the SLR.
That's Joel. Crew. Oh well, hello Joel.
That is Joel. Yeah. Glad to see you here. Thank you for turning up. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody who is watching. Please don't forget
to
like
and I need to do that now. Yeah,
How
Joel,
dare
I wonder how Joel's
very
going.
dare.
Like, Joel's still racing, obviously, there in the F1. I wonder if have you got into iRacing there, or ACC there, Joel? You got the pace. Joel's super quick.
Certainly is still racing in F1. He is, yeah. So I imagine, I believe he's turning off assists this season.
Oh, good.
And dipping his toe into the Tier 1 scene with mixed results. Should we just leave it at that, shall we, Joel? But
are you still casting over there?
I do from time to time. Yeah, I haven't cast this week. I've had far too much on this week with the car crash and the insurance and.
Oh, that's
my
right.
shoes
I was going to
falling
ask
out
you about how that panned out. Yeah, you said it.
Everything
It was
else.
a write-off, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a write-off, and it's the insurance company is refusing to pay what the car was worth. They've actually came back to me this week and said, we don't give you what the car's worth because, as we say in our policy, we only give you what the car's worth. So that is literally how they worded it. It doesn't make any sense to me either. But yeah, I've argued the toss. I've rejected their first two offers because, yeah, I mean, I literally, I can see how much the car's worth because there's only 7 or 8 of them for sale in the whole of the UK. And they're selling for about £3,500 to £4,500.
Ah.
And they're not giving me anywhere near that. So...
I'll have to make some calls and get it sorted out. Gersauser is in here, the chief, the man himself. Now, I know Mr. Austin Chief. He's got like half the SLR community in here at the moment. Welcome along, guys.
Yeah, I actually remember to post the video before I started this time, so they all know where to go this time. But welcome, Chief. Great to have you here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. But your support is always appreciated. Always about to support his fellow sim racing community. People, I suppose, is going to go. But Bremer is currently right on the back of Busan, and this is a race that's been hotting up for a little bit of time now. And there's a bit of damage there for Bremer as well. No stops from either of these guys, and as it stands, it is Bremer who is the quicker of the two. Good 4/10 quicker the last lap around as well, and closing that gap rapidly. But with that little bit of damage, maybe he is going to make this a little bit tougher than it needs to be. But look at that line that Busan is taking through Sunset. A very, very tight line there compared to Bremer. And Bremer seems to be carrying a lot more speed because of that, using a lot more of the track.
It's like you've squeezed it together when you're upset. It's not a perfectly round steering wheel. It's more of an egg-shaped, isn't it?
Elliptical orbit kind of thing. I'm going back to the physics talk as well, yeah.
Look at that, once again, that blinding light. I was just wanted to mention too as well, another track that reminds me of, with that sunset directly in your eyes, is Phillip Island. So if you get a chance to go around Phillip Island track...
Oh, something's happened to Mick Hutchinson. Sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but he's dropped a position there, and dropped quite a bit of time as well. Like, is that a 9-10 second gap that's been created now between him and NATO?
Let's have a look at the replay. Good catch on that one. There, is it the fence? No, it's contacted the fence.
That's a big shunt as well, and you can't even get reverse gear there as well, but reverses back at the track nicely, and yeah, avoids the racing line. Decent rejoin in the end, but that was a big hit. That's it. There's several times he's had an issue there, and that's the hairpin. Turn number 7, down that back straight there. It's a tricky one to get right. You've got to brake later than you think you can. Into that corner I've found in the GT3 cars especially, and you can brake even later in this car.
Look at the right hand side there. Look at the left hand front left. It's really low to ground. I'll see if we can get the nose cam and see that one. That's not really going to be proper. But
that's a lapped car that he's got behind him. I'm wondering if he's going to have to spend some time in the pit, creating issues there. I wonder if we've lost the stream as well. Well, I have maybe lost the stream.
Oh, I'm checking over at YouTube at the moment. G'day, Zach, of course. Casting, always casting, and JPB and always casting. He's going to pit road right now, so we'll keep an eye on that. John, if he does choose those additional repairs or not. Yeah,
I think the stream is still live. Apologies, that's just me.
Yeah, I'd said it's re-streaming as well too, so I do have a little bit of drop frames every once in a while. Apologies about that. That's just my jungle connection to restream. So we'll see if he takes his optional repairs or not, because you still have about 40 minutes in this race. So you got to be wondering, is it too damaged that he's going to drop too much time to justify the offset, of course, the time difference of taking those repairs.
I mean,
yeah.
grab Pitt, and he came
in and
out
quickly, so he hasn't elected to do repairs.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of the optional repairs might have gotten done. I mean, his car looks a little bit better. I wonder if there's fast repairs here. I don't know if there is or not, but a fast repair might have repaired that instantaneously. Fill it up with fuel, and off he goes again. Crab is also pitted as well, and maybe he got rid of some of his damage as well. But Bremer is still unable to get this move done on Buson up front, but starting to get tight.
Who's off in the background here? That was about somebody being lapped. There's a little bit twirly-whirly there. Zach says out there, Zach, he said the bumps of Sebring have conquered even Max Verstappen, missed out on commentating on him because of it. It's a challenge for sure, really.
Max who?
Yeah. Max Verstappen.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him as well.
I'm pretty sure.
You mean Max Crash Stappen that he used to be called back in when his first year or so in Formula One? Remember? Or
he got himself a bit of a reputation in his early days in Formula One, did he not? Definitely. But I do believe that speaking of the man himself who won a race yesterday, he'll probably be on iRacing already by now.
He
if he's
probably
not
would be
on a flight.
He
home
has a girlfriend, but I'm kind of wondering when he gets time to spend with his girlfriend because. Outside of motor racing, he's always in the sim rig as well.
Yeah, I imagine she's probably booked in like commercial breaks in a YouTube video, something like that kind of thing. But he did do this. After Jeddah, Max isn't in this split, unfortunately. He's actually, I'm afraid not. I would love to commentate on one of his races.
He could be on another account.
Possibly. Not his dad, because he does race on that one every now and again. I've seen him racing around as Jos Verstappen before. But yeah, what I was going to say there, after Jeddah, within 24 hours of Jeddah race finishing in real life, he was in his sim rig, winning 10 races in a row in iRacing at Sebring in a GT3 car. 10 races in a row, P1. Now, yes, okay, he may be the Formula 1 World Champion, one of the greatest drivers around at the moment in motorsport, but sim racing and real racing, yes, very similar, not the same thing though, and he is absolutely dominating sim racing as well. Unbelievably good at it, which you would expect, but not every racer is as good as he is when it comes to sim racing as well. He puts in an inordinate amount of time into it, like you say.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't actually literally have a sim rig installed on his private jet.
I did read an article saying something similar to that kind of thing, and then somebody asked him in something like the Ted's Notebook or something on Sky, and he says, no, but I have got everything there to take a sim rig wherever I go, and it fits in nicely into a spot on my private jet. It just isn't set up on the private jet because there are no power sockets on the private jet to power sim rig.
Oh, and people track his private jet too, because I remember watching Kim, the F1 photographer, who's got a YouTube channel. He gives a lot of information about F1, of course, because he's a photographer and travels to every F1 race through the year. And somebody was saying that they sent up when he arrived into Melbourne. Somebody sent him a snap, I think, because they tracked Max's private jet. So Max's private jet landed on the runway just before he did on a commercial plane. But, yeah, fans are fans, aren't they? They're tracking private jets, locations around the world, and things like that. You know, you're a Max fan, or you're a fan of some of the drivers that do have the luxury of having a private jet. I tell you, and that's just another thing, going back to Formula 1 actually, with the Formula 1 game, there's a league that I used to cast that had the Belgium goalkeeper, which is, what's his name? I'm trying to remember now.
Thibaut Courtois.
Courtois. He was racing in that league, and then the World Cup was starting, and you know what he did? He flew his race rig down because it was going to be, going to be in the World Cup. Of course, they're there for about a month or change, aren't they? So yeah, and he flew his racing rig down, but unfortunately he couldn't race because the internet just wasn't very good there in Qatar for him to be able to do it. So yeah, that was
can't win them all.
He's
even
got so
with
much money. It's not like it's really going to be that dinging your bank balance too much.
Bremer's finally going to try and get the move done on Buson as well, but doesn't look as if he'll be able to get it done so far. Battle between the Netherlands and Great Britain. Yeah, I believe it's Northern Ireland, that flag on the side of the wing for Buson.
Oh yeah, that's one for you out there, Mr. Chief.
Is it Northern Ireland or is it? I can't tell because it looks like the England flag.
It's English.
It looks like the England flag, but the Northern Ireland flag looks very much like the English flag as well. But Yeah, nothing doing as it stands. Bremer, though, really starting to wind the screw a bit. One thing I've noticed here, though, 34 minutes to go here. It's Sebring, and the top 7 guys still have not pitted, not even once. And there are 2 mandatory pit stops here, and you cannot serve one of them in the last 10 minutes of the race. I wonder if anybody is going to forget that or not remember it before the end of the race and get disqualified because of from the stand.
That's a lot of teammates out of it. You'd imagine they would be communicating to it, because you've got the Simracing Beethoven 1 and 2 and 3, Simracing Mozart in 4th currently at the moment. Once again, they're still to make their pit stops. So that's something to think about, and no doubt they'll probably be in the chat thinking exactly about that as we're going to just ride on board with Ivan.
I believe we are missing some people from last week as well. Some notable omissions here as I just quickly pull up the standings. Is Adolfo, Alfredo Malo, Mr. R from last week, if you remember him. He's no longer with us here this week. He finished P2 last time out. He's not with us. And I believe he might be in MK Racing team as well, simply because of the amount of points that they've scored. And Karabelas, not having the best time out this time. He did very well last time. Oh, Bremer did eventually get past Buson there. I missed it.
Oh, I'll show you that replay. Ooh. Got a replay of that. Let's have a look and see. He's just got Twirly Willy in the corner there. That almost got contact. Very lucky.
Yeah, and, definitely some brown stains in underpants for that one. Were there not, surely. But Buson already dropping back quite a bit. 7/10 now the gap, and I believe that he's probably just going to get away from there. Crab and Clark, 2 guys close on track. We've also got LeMay and Mellis in P18 and P19 respectively. Also battling out. Looks like LeMay's going to get him as well, but doesn't look like it's going to happen just now. Bremer's in the pit lane. First of the top 7 there to pit out of those. Still got a long way to go. 32 minutes remaining. I wonder if these guys must have all filled, all these top 7, 8 guys must have all filled their fuel tanks to the brim and just thought, I'm going to go as long as I can, and then just pit just before the 10-minute mark. Some of these guys may decide just to pit, stop in the pit, not even look at the fuel, and straight out again. Just a quick stop and go in order to fulfill the mandatory pit stop requirement. And then off to go again. But Bremer coming out of the pits now, as you know, that's him still in the pits. Quite a long stop here. I'm wondering if he's got some damage to get repaired, and or whether he's just fueling up plenty of fuel to get him to the very end of the race and just come in for a stop and go like I mentioned.
We'll have a look at the pit stop time as well. Let's have a look. So, yeah, well, that's it's about a minute, as you can see. Grab's taken about a minute as well. And then you see those other pit stops about. They're not 100% accurate that we get from our timing, but give or take, they're close to give you an indication. This is still a battle brewing up back here. I'm talking about back here is in the 20th and 21st position. And both of these drivers have gained some places. So Guy Robertson of Team Dre, this is up the road. He has 7 positions gains, and Andy that we're seeing here right now has gained 5 positions now. I'm sure they want to be gaining a few more to get themselves up in the top 10, but it's realistically with 30 minutes to go. You got to do your best. Points and points. Get it done. Somebody's just gone off the road there. I wonder if that was Joseph Emirate. He went straight on. Look at that.
Yeah, that's not the way,
the
my
breaking
friend.
Point. And just lucky a nice run off area there, so you're not into the fence.
That is not the way, my friend. Somebody get this man a map. It is not going well for him. But yeah, where was that? I think it was hairpin, I believe it was, wasn't it? It's going straight on there. Not ideal.
That's like was it a Kimi Raikkonen in Brazil one time, trying to take one of those outside tracks or something like that? This is Stephen Places entering in pit road.
Can't remember. I do have vague memories of Kimi screaming and shouting over the team radio, as is wont to do, complaining probably about where, why is the track like this? Who put this there?
Yeah, didn't he say get rid of this barrier? What's this barrier doing? Isn't this supposed to be the entrance or something? Yeah, it's crazy. I think some people have done that before. Anyway, I tried to mimic that. I think in one of the Formula 1 games back in the day too.
Got Place in the pits
and Jason
as well for Team Radline. A number of drivers, Team Radline, in this race here, and a lot of them doing very, very well. They've got to score some big points.
Cars in there too. That's Stefan.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, he's got a bit of dinged up rear wing. See if that gets repaired or not. Those other cars will do a quick pit stop. Oh, that's right. They have to jack the front up for the front tyres and jack the rear up for the rear tyres. So you're definitely taking some tyres there. For
that's an interesting strategy. I don't know if anybody else has been picking up tyres in the pits, and certainly you can take a little bit of time to get them on. It's going to cost you time in the pits to do that, but the time that you gain on the track with fresh rubber, is that worth it? Clark and Crab currently battling hard on track as well. 4 tenths between those guys, and looking at like a spicy race building up here between these two. Bit of a damage there. As you can see, the Team Radline, the N on the Radline is just a bit wonky, and not looking particularly straight there for
get a bit of that special carbon fiber gaffer tape they have that they used one time, I think, in one of the practice sessions. I think that was in.
Was it not Tsunoda? Did it? Yeah, they got the old duct tape out to fix the rear wing because it wasn't flapping around all over the DRS.
That's right, the one that was flapping around. That's right. It's a special tape. Somebody mentioned it the other day. It's like a, it's just like a
big. That's what AlphaTauri claim. It's a special tape.
Carbon fiber, or it's probably just regular gaffer
duct tape from Home Bargains or Home Depot, or whatever you want to call it, kind of thing. Literally gorilla tape or something like that.
Let's have a look at Bernard here. Bernard, I think that's from the Pocket Rocket Racing team. I'll show you Pocket. This is going to be out braking into the corner here. There, we've seen that a few times.
Oh no, he's lost the grip on the back tyres as he's trying to turn in a bit too strongly there, get a tight line, and doesn't go well for him there. But that is the nature of Sunset Bend. Absolute nightmare to get right. The bumps cause all sorts of unsettlements in the car, and once it starts going, it's very hard to get it back again. But one trick, if people are listening and don't already know this one, in this car, if you do start feeling the back end sliding, if you hold the brake and the accelerator at about 50% each, then the back tyres start to spin up, and your front tyres slow the front of the car down, and it corrects itself.
Huh.
Sometimes. Sometimes. That's the disclaimer I'm sticking in there, and I'm sticking with, because it doesn't always work. I tried it today, and it did. I still went flying off into the barrier, because some things are just unsavable. But look at the bumps in this car here. We're putting on board with this beautiful Castrol car.
Man, I hope that'll rattle. It's like, I think Martin Brundle would say, isn't it? It's like when you flat spot a Formula 1 car, it says like driving on a 50p coin.
Yeah, the vibrations and things that come through the...
Rattle the fillings out of your TV used to say that as well too. So obviously the same sort of thing at the moment in these radical cars. Well, this track as well too, that Zach mentioned as well too, the bumps have even conquered Mr. Max, as we having Mr. De Graaf riding in the pit road there from the Netherlands. He's gained 10 positions, but he's going to drop a few now, making his mandatory pit stop. One of his mandatory pit stops.
One of two mandatory
Stephen
pit
Place
stops,
has made his second, you can see. And now Greek name there, if you can pronounce that one again.
Karabelas.
Yes, Karabelas. You got that right last time, didn't you, when we were chatting to the driver?
I think so. Yeah, Karabelas is not an easy one to say, but I like saying Karabelas, and I'll say Karabelas as many times as I can in one.
That's a good warm-up exercise for those tongue twisters kind of things, you know what I mean? Like, let's say that multiple times. That's not a bad idea, actually, too, as a commentator, to go through those names and say them multiple times so you get it right. That's something where I fail on. That's something that Zachary does quite well. That's something you do quite well, Stephen, as well as James.
It's whole lot of time practicing reading the Greek phone book for fun and games.
True.
Books and giggles.
That's right.
That I do.
Because you have Greek heritage, right?
I do. My dad's from Greece, and so I speak a little bit of the language. Which makes the pronunciation a little bit easier, because unlike English, which can be very, very tricky with pronunciations of certain words, and certain words being identically spelt but pronounced differently, like close and close, for example. In Greek, pretty much letters are pronounced as you see them, pretty much every single time, other than the odd obvious rule that everybody knows about, such as the double O for in book, that kind of thing. But otherwise, pretty much whatever you see written in Greek, you can pronounce in Greek because it's pretty much pronounced the same always as that Vicro car there goes off a wee bit sideways.
Yeah, a few people that's been catching a couple of those drivers off. Spanish is kind of like that as well, but I just can't get my head around because once you get the vowels correctly in Spanish, like the a, o, u, and then you read it, you kind of read if you do pronounce it the way you read it, with taking that into consideration, Spanish is very easy, but I struggle with it. But most people don't. Do
you speak a lot of Spanish?
No, I don't. When you've lived in essentially this country for probably about 10 years, give or take, I've lived in other places during that, but come back here quite a bit. Yeah, no, I'm horrible. The problem is that there's not a lot of people that are patient. I think some of the locals that are can speak English and well, very deep into the corner. They can speak English. Have a bit more patience when with my accent or something. I pronounce the word just not 100% correct. Some of the locals, like in shops or something like that, they'll just look at you and just go, I didn't understand a single word you said. They won't kind of work with you to go, I think you're trying to say this. And you go, yeah, that's it. They just like, nah, you didn't get it right, so sorry, don't understand. No comprende.
Definitely a problem I've encountered before in Greece as well. Everybody wants to practice their English while I want to practice my Greek. So it's difficult to get a conversation going because you can tell immediately just the accent and the stumbling over words and grammar that maybe my Greek's not the best, and then they immediately start speaking back in English. Which, yeah, in certain situations you just think, well, just let me struggle through the Greek and get through it, like respond in Greek, and I'll try my best to understand. But yeah, languages are difficult, and you've got to immerse yourself in them and speak it every day if you can.
Yeah, be interesting in countries like Japan and China and Korea and stuff too, where you really have to try to communicate your best, and not a lot of locals are going to be that great at English, but they're going to want to do that practice in English, and you've got to practice your Japanese or Mandarin and stuff like that. We're looking at the moment of Jorgen that's been leading this race from the very start. 5.2 gap there over his teammate. Adam, you said that was Iceland?
Isaacson.
Isaacson, that's it. I gotta pronounce the I like it's a capital. But he's the only one with a clear visor, so once again you can see, it looks like he's got a smile on his face. So you can just see with the eyes. That's like a smile in the helmet for sure. And why not? He's leading the race, but he has to take a pit stop soon.
Looks dead inside, to be honest. Like he's that bored with this race all on his own that he's losing the will to live slowly. But it's been a fantastic race so far. We've got to agree. There's been a lot of action, lots of people going off, and currently, as it stands, I believe all those blue names on your screen on the left-hand side, I mean, they've all been lapped.
Well, Birdie's going in.
Obviously, the first 5 drivers haven't pitted yet, and we've got 21 minutes remaining. In those next 11 minutes, all of these guys have got to pit twice.
Again, yeah. So that's going to be one after the other. That's going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to show too. Well, the gap coming up is going to be interesting because we know that the pit stops here are going to be on average. Well, they're kind of all over the place. We'll have to see. We'll have to see at the moment what Birdie does. So front jack up, so tyre change, and the rear jack will go up. If
he's changing the rears, it does.
If he's changing the rears, yeah. Let's have a look. Yep, rears.
Is that Mellis we've got in the pit as well at the back, who's been there for quite some time?
Yeah, that's repairs. That was all dinged
up. Yeah, he's got big repairs to be doing there. We've spotted him earlier in the pits back then. He's been there a long time, but yeah, once you just get out, you should still finish the race. I always believe finishing the race is the best thing to do. If you can still move on your own power, get it done. It's practice, if nothing else, and gives you time. But here comes McHutchinson into the pit lane for the second time. And that'll be his second mandatory pit stop done as well. Front 3, and Poussin as well, who's quite a big gap behind there, is still yet to pit even once. They've got to start coming in sooner or later. And imagine that you can probably fuel these cars. I didn't check that, I really should have. You can probably fuel these cars till the end.
Oh, look how quick that stop was from John.
It was barely a stop at all.
It was barely a stop. Now, this is one of those mandatory, you just have to stop in your box for a millisecond and back out. So that's interesting, and you can see it right there. That
it didn't even look like he stopped to me.
No, it did not.
To be honest, it looked like he was so quick that he barely looked as though he stopped the car. But
let's see if it happens to Paul here as well. He's made his first pit stop, so this could be the second pit stop. Does he go straight? No, he's taking something on here.
He's taking something, yeah. So it's So the thing is as well, like I understand why you want to just come in and just stop and then go again. But surely the better strategy would be to take less fuel in the first place and fill up, because you're going to gain that time out on the track and have the advantage over your rival.
That's what I would have thought. Let's see if David does take anything here. Yes, taking tyres. Front jack up. Just be careful with the jack person, okay? Especially if you're in Aston Martin. Might get a bit picky on that one.
Don't want to send anybody flying, as I'm pretty sure it was Max Verstappen that once, was it?
No, you remember the argument when they had a penalty? It was not in Australia, but
the penalty that was immediately disproven.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the second stop down from Tim. We saw him just come in a lap before, and we'll have a look right now if this will just be literally pulling up a new box and then exiting it as quickly as possible. So I'd say so, right? Because he just came in a lap before.
Yeah, imagine Birdie now in the pit lane.
This is going to give us an indication what other drivers are going to do as well. So, yeah, look, there it is. Stop and go.
Yep. Stop and go, yeah. So that seems to be the strategy from the top guys so far. Well, Hutchinson did the same thing. The only guy who didn't was Place, I believe it was. But none of the front guys, Frank, Isaacson and Nagel, have yet to pit. And Frank is 6-second gap he's got over the next closest guy. As we're starting to get a very beautiful sunset in the background there. And that's not that big a gap when you consider all things.
There it is. Race leader. I knew it.
There is Frank. Yep.
So this is what we expect. Now, is he going to take anything? Because you got to think he hasn't taken any fuel or any tyres. There's his teammate in behind.
It looks like this is pre-planned. I wonder if these guys have worked it all out, and whether it was just run out of fuel. Is the other question. Could they even go another lap? We don't know.
Yeah, here we go. So he's in his box, and his teammate should be right there as well, almost zooming into each other. There it is.
Definitely taking tyres.
Yep. As well as, just in the background, there's another one to come and join the party. So that you're going to see all three here in the middle of the pit lane.
Certainly are. I imagine that's probably down to the fact that they've run out of fuel. They didn't have enough to do the whole 90 minutes, maybe. But Frank is away already, and looks like closely followed by Isaacson.
Yep, they all took tyres. Look, probably tyres and fuel.
Everybody's taking tyres, yeah. So maybe those that 50% tyre wear that I was talking about earlier on is a bit too much. We've got Buson coming at the pits now as well. He's got a bit of damage to repair as well. Interesting to see whether or not he cares that much about that damage.
I don't think he can afford to take it too much now.
Just instantly did it there. He's got a fast repair, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
So it instantly popped.
Yep.
Now there's definitely the England flag on the front of his car, so definitely not the Northern Irish one. So that's that mystery solved as well. Buson, I haven't spent quite a bit of time in the pits here though. I'm wondering what for. Is that just some damage to repair, or was that fuel filling it up?
Could be fuel. Is Michael LeMay's the 777 machine there? That's another one of classic. Picks it up on it and gets back into it. Of course, we have two LeMays. The other LeMay at the moment is Paul LeMay, and he's up here for the. That's why they called the Two Brothers Racing Team, obviously, because they're brothers. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
I mean, I'd be very surprised if they weren't brothers at this stage, really, with a name like that. But yeah, things are starting to settle down a bit now. We've got a couple of more pit stops still to go. 16 minutes left on that clock, but only 6 minutes for the last mandatory pit stop. So the way I understand
he's overshot it. So Paul Crab overshot it a little bit. Yeah, he's lucky, I guess, that he wasn't doing anything in the pit stop. That's just that mandatory one he had to take, but you could see that overshooting your pit stop costs you quite a bit of time sometimes, especially if you had to fill it up or whatever, and you're really, really close in the racing. Because he'd actually set the fastest Sector 7 just before that pit stop, so he was absolutely flying. And I think that little bit of a sector time that he just made was just degraded there by the pit stop. Jurgen's in for his second time. And this is what we expect now, isn't it? This stop and go from these drivers. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if his teammate, yes, they are also going to be entering in there for the same thing. Stop. Now, this is going to be interesting if you do make that little bit of a mistake or having to reverse back or something like that. That's between these two teammates, because that could cost you.
It can be huge. I have actually gained a few positions this week.
Oh, that was perfect.
And it's just a quick stop and go for Frank. And you can gain a lot of time in the pits here because as well, especially just the braking, where to brake for your brake mark. If you try and brake too early and you're losing all that time there to your rivals, they're getting it right. And you also got the entry and the exits as well. You've got to maximise those. I've noticed a lot of people at Red Bull Ring this week slowing
where's
down too
Timbo?
early as they come in.
Here he goes. So Timbo's going to take this position back. Look. Bang. As he goes back down the main straightaway because he's made his second pit stop as there's Rudolph in there. Now, where's Ivan? This is interesting. When Ivan can come out ahead or not?
Yeah, he's still got another stop to make, though.
Oh,
so
yeah, he does.
Busan
You're right.
as well. So they're still going to lose these positions overall as well. We're going to really wait until that 10-minute mark before we can see exactly where the dust is going to settle here in terms of this race. But one thing that is almost guaranteed, don't want to curse the man, but Frank is almost guaranteed to win this. He's been dominant so far, but he hasn't had it all of his own way. Isakson, gonna get that right every time from now on, surely. He's only 6 seconds behind in a 90-minute race. That's pretty good going. Look at the gaps to other drivers. 20 seconds from him to Bertie, 25 seconds from Bertie to Busan. Well, to the leader. Sorry,
Look at
apologise.
this
That's the
dinged
leader
up car
gap.
from John. And he hasn't taken the repairs.
I wonder if he's run out of fast repairs.
He might have, because he must have. I think he must have had another moment because that wasn't that bad before. Remember, we saw that car got fixed coming out of the pit lane the first time. Remember, and now he's back in again. So I'll have to check. Yeah, here it is. He's actually gone off track now. This is the reason why there's been a moment with John, and that's not a mirror of where he hit earlier, wasn't it? But that's the reason why it's all damaged up again, and that's. Yeah, no fast repairs left, but we have to definitely be on the assumption they had fast repairs before now. And yeah, that's a lot to repair. Now, whether or not he's got 13 minutes to go, he's currently running now in 21st place after dropping 17 positions. I don't know if that'll be a retirement or not. He's still in the car.
That's possibility. I mean, he might have so many repairs that he'll be in there for the remainder of the race. 12 minutes to go, and two drivers still in the top 10. Have not done their second pit stop, but Busan and Bremer. Bremer is coming into the pit lane now as we speak, and he's going to serve his. I wonder if he's going to take anything on or whether it's just going to be a quick stop and go like others have done so far. Busan out and ahead, already got a whole lap to do before he can get back in as well, but only 2 minutes remaining of the mandatory pit stop window.
So
and
Stephen Place goes past, and I think Paul going to be able to take this position because yeah, Bremer's now exiting pit road. Where's Paul Crabb? There, no. Paul, too far back.
Now.
Yeah.
Too far back. But might be able to catch up that gap in the 10 minutes. To be seen. Yeah, big winner here so far. Obviously, Jürgen Frank wasn't with us last week, so he's starting fresh in terms of the championship. But Isakson is not. He was P1 last time out, got 50 points. He's going to get 48 points for this one as well. So he's going to take a commanding lead at the top of the championship after this race. Bertie, who finished P3, I believe, last time out, is going to be also up there or thereabouts as well. Karabelas has managed to recover quite well in this race as well, but Bremer up 10 position, following on board with him at the moment, has done an absolutely fantastic job, keeping things clean so far and making the most of his chances. We've also got Duckworth down in P15, who's gained 9 positions as well. But Hutchinson, though, day to forget. He should be up there with the best of them in the top 4 or 5, and he's currently sitting in P23 after binning it twice this race. I imagine there's only the one fast repair that is available to him. But
you better hope his teammate at the moment here of Mike, who has to go on the pit road soon because we're down. Look at that, 10 minutes there. I was going to say that's pushing it, wasn't it? Because 10 minutes and 47 seconds, he could not go around another lap. Otherwise, that would be no time for the pit road. We'll still see who else.
All he had to do was spin off once, lose himself 20 seconds, and then spin again, and lose himself another 20, and it could have been curtains for him in terms of disqualification. McHutchinson's still in the pits as well in front of him. Look at that, the Team Radline guy in front of him there, still with a damaged wing as well. I imagine he's got a lot of repairs to get through.
This could be close. Where's Mike? And there's
Place
Steven.
comes through. And, but yeah, Busan gets ahead of Bremer. I mean, that's not bad going. Stephen Place has had
remember Stephen Place took those pit stops earlier. He was a lot. He took him a lot. He took a very early pit stop, and then the second time around, Stephen Place boxed on lap 31. Okay, these guys just recently boxed, as you know, 39s for the leaders up there, 37s, 39s, and 41 you just saw there from Mike. So yeah, by about 10 laps a lap earlier. And also Dennis, the Greek pronunciation driver, of course, he last boxed on lap 38. So very, very early for him, but they've all made their 2 pit stops now, so I won't show you that up on the screen anymore.
Karabelas was around and in the last place after the first lap as well, remember? He got tagged in the early stages of this, and he's managed to get himself back up to P9 and gain 4 positions over his starting position after being all the way down back in very last after the first lap as well. So that is in a remarkable recovery, you've got to say. A remarkable.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Here you go. Look at that. Just getting ahead of the racing line there. And Joseph here has gone into deep, and that's the... see, nobody else, I believe, has any contact. Is he going to return back to pit road? No, he's just trying to find the reverse gear underneath the bridge. Didn't even know there was an overpass bridge there. And something new every day.
Joseph Emmett around again on your replay there, yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay. Should be okay. There was no damage as they go to start another lap. Yeah, as you said, for Dennis here, is doing a pretty good job. Yeah, but yeah, give it to the Dutch driver as well too for the Platinum Racing Team. 10 position gained, kept his note. Some of those drivers do. Some really do perform better in more endurance races, don't they, than shorter sprint races, let's say.
It's a different kettle of fish. You've got to be a lot more aggressive in a shorter race because there's less time, less laps to get what you need done. And in this kind of race, it's all about consistency and banging in the same laps over and over again without ever making a huge mistake like McHutchinson has this evening. He's made 2 big costly mistakes, and that is part of it. And you wonder yourself, practice.
He's out of the car. He said, nah, I'm done.
Yes, possibly. Well, maybe he's just crew chiefing for some of his teammates in the meantime, trying to get those repairs done. But he's not retired the car.
His teammates,
there's a number of
there,
people who are out
at the moment. They're 1 position gain in P6, and of course, and then Paul Crabb a little bit further back there in P8, but dropping 2 places, but still in it. Which you'd like to see, of course. And that's it so far. Sort of the team Bradline drivers, and that's what he probably would be doing. She said, like spotting, crew chiefing. But at the moment, he's got to be more. They have to be more concerned about the old Sim RC teams, aren't they? The Beethoven and the Mozarts. Definitely, what would you call, composing some of the best race results this season for the team. There you go. I was looking at that.
I was about to say something similar, because Beethoven there in Jürgen Frank has managed to set the fastest lap as well. So. He is music to his ears. He's managed to steal that off Adam Isaacson as well.
Right on board and you can probably give me an indication, even with the traffic here, how smooth operator Carlos Sainz-esque is Mr. Jürgen here around at the moment on this track, especially if he's putting the fastest laps in now.
Certainly is. He looks very predictable in his input. If you look at his steering wheel, it's very, very light, tiny inputs here, and he's very rarely, as you look at that, he's trying to turn it in, but it's not snapping, it's not wrestling with it. It is very smooth stuff indeed, which is what you need throughout the entire of an endurance race. It's all about keeping everything as smooth as possible. If the back end of this car starts to slip slide, yes, it's catchable, yes, it's very fun when it starts happening, but it definitely costs you time. And what a line that is that he's taken through Le Mans there as well. I was really struggling with that corner for our we got into this broadcast. Bremer up 10 positions is absolutely fantastic stuff. I've got to say, Stephen Place as well has done a fantastic job to get himself up into P5 as well. But this man here, Frank, has absolutely dominated proceedings. But that gap behind to E6 is now dropped down to 5.6. But the fastest lap that just came in from Frank. And then here we have another lap being put in as well, a 53 flat. So 4/10 up on his fastest lap time, but I believe that is still a margin quicker. It is a 52.6 from Isaacson to re-steal that fastest lap. So is there a bit of a battle going on here, just in terms of mental battle here going on between these front two? Is Isaacson going to be able to reel him in? I don't think he is, to be honest. It's a long way to go for the last 5 minutes, but we have got a battle here between Buisson and Place, as well as Buisson has managed to catch up to the back of Stephen Place, and this could get interesting with only 4.5 minutes remaining.
And now it's the time to get something done, if you want to. We know that for a fact that with John retired at this race, we assume he's retired there. He's probably right now trying to boost his team up as much as possible. Then, so come on, Mike. I believe you can get it done. I believe Mike believes that he can get it done, and at the moment he's just got to study the Canadian driver there of Stephen Place up the road there and see if he's gonna make a mistake. And Stevie, of course, has to make sure he drives this car flawlessly home for the remaining 4 minutes and change to make sure he keeps that 5th place for Mr. Place. There you go.
Canadian's definitely going to be feeling the pressure, and Buisson wants to get this done. It's 2 points under his wing that he really wants in terms of the championship as well. And Buisson not here, I believe, in week 1 for the original race, so he's got some catching up to do, and he'll need to make the most of every opportunity that he gets. And this is an opportunity. So yeah, as we were saying earlier in the race as well, we've got a number of people who are not here who were last time, most notably Alfredo Melo R, who finished P2 last time out, and we've also got Arturas Kundelis as well, who had a fantastic race last time out, finished P5, is not with us this evening either. So sorely missed, but we've got to focus on the drivers that we have got here, and it's Buisson ratcheting up the pressure. I cannot speak with this tooth, man. I need to get this tooth placed ASAP.
Yeah, yep. You sound okay. I wouldn't even notice unless you told me. But you obviously know a lot more about how it feels than I do. This is it, isn't it?
This is going to be the move here, down into Sunset Bend. He's got a big toe, but he's going to hang back for the moment, make the move into turn 1 maybe. It's going to be a lot easier to get it done into there, but I imagine that it's going to be defended very hard indeed by Stephen Place, the Canadian, not doing the Canadian thing and just rolling over and saying sorry as the stereotype goes, but he's doing a fantastic job of holding him up at the moment. But it looks as though Buisson is quicker, and he's really starting to ramp up that pressure now. He's just within 2/10 as we head into the final 2 minutes of this 90-minute race, and it's starting to get very dark around Sebring, and that makes it more of a challenge for the drivers in terms of seeing things. These guys do have headlights though, so you can see a little bit where you're going, but it does make things a little bit harder driving in the dark.
I turn my headlights off and just put your VR so your infrared goggles on and see at night time, so you drive in dark. Look at this. He's got to give it everything right now. He's got to try to force Mr. Steven into a mistake. And once again, Stevie, I always tell us the drivers, if I'm engineering them or whatever, and they're being chased down by somebody, I say, reach your hand out there and just rip those mirrors off. Don't even look at them. They do not exist. You've got to focus 100% on your own racing line and on your own race. And that should keep the driver behind you at bay. Problem is, when you start mirror driving, that's when you can get into some problems.
He's going to have to, at some stage, so far so good. He's doing a good job. He's keeping things calm and smooth and not allowing a space to get alongside here from Buisson. But he hasn't really had to defend as of yet. He's going to have to, at some point, pick the inside line, and that could then open the door for Buisson. Oh, on the grass he goes. That's looking in his rearview mirror, like you said. He's wiggling a bit there to say sorry. He's going to give him the place, is he? He's going for the inside, and yep, there he goes. Down the inside, the 31 car goes. Is he going to get it done? Looks like he's got it sorted. Very, very wide line there from Place, and he doesn't get it done. Doesn't get it in
but
time.
Now it has to be, right, look at this. They are going to be dragging, but the inside, the turn to the left will go in the favour there of Stevie. But look at the exit speed coming out here. He's going to swing now to the opposite side, but tucks in behind. Doesn't elect to send yet.
Now he's getting very defensive. Now is the Canadian. He's starting to get those elbows out and make this as difficult as he can for the Englishman Buisson behind. And Buisson is unable to find a way through as it stands. He's going to have to get a bit more aggressive. He's going to have to send it. He's going to have to really start piling the pressure on a bit. Now that he's seen that this guy's willing to defend, this is going to be the last lap, I believe. Are we on the white flag? It looks like we've got 17 seconds remaining.
Coming around the corner now, so if I think that will tick off, it's going to be close, but look at that, 7 seconds or so. Yep, there it is. So you can call that one. Jürgen has got the job done. GG's on that.
Certainly has. Crosses the finish line in P1, gets it done by 6 seconds or more. And Isaacson, with a very strong, solid P2, takes a hold of the championship. so far, but he's definitely got some competition here in Frank, who is rapid indeed. Bertie will cross the line next as he now comes through. Where is he? He looks like Sunset Bend, I believe it is. And Nagel down Le Mans straight as it stands, coming around Sunset Bend. Buisson and Place still fighting it hard as Bertie rounds out the podium. And Buisson, is he going to go for it here? It looks like he's getting very close. And side by side they are going. This is going to be an intense finale, and it looks like Buisson got it. Did it at the death? No, it's still the final corner. This is Sunset Bend that they're going around now. Buisson gets up the inside. Is he going to take it hit the final corner? It looks like he has, but the long way around for Place. He's catching, he's gaining, he's going to get it on the line. Is he not? No, it's 3/100ths between the two drivers. What a finale between those two. That is some very tense racing. After 90 minutes, 3/100ths of a second between P5 and P6. That was the closest battle travel. Bremer finishes in P7. Brilliant race from him. 10 positions gained from him. Place managed to do very well with 4 positions gained. Karabelas, with that absolutely immense recovery, getting himself into P9. Crab in P8 after a couple of incidents, maybe some damage there that he got in the early stages as well. And but May has a decent race as well. Top of the two brothers in P10. Maybe he wanted a bit more from that after starting. I think he started a little higher, but a decent race in the end for him as well. He makes the top 10, and that's where you want to be really to get those big points. Top 10 of these guys. Clark is going to finish the race next, and then Graf and everybody else was lap. Max Hutchinson still in the pits, able to finish the race. Damage was just too much. That did not go his way. We have 4 drivers out. I believe that's Blanco, Dozer, and the others I didn't catch.
Yeah, look at this. Having a bit of a yarn together. The perfect situation there for the teammates all together there. 1, 2, and 3. And 4 if you really do count the Mozart driver as well. But, yeah, dominating performance. And that's just unfortunately, once again, because John would have been in the mix with them. He didn't have the unfortunate damage twice, and the second time around elected to retire the car. So results should be coming up now on the screen for you to go over there, Mr. Stephen.
Certainly will. We've got Mr. Well, we've missed the first 10 there, but never mind.
There we go.
There we go. So Jürgen Frank, number car 176, wins his first race of the season at round 2 in Sebring. Adam Isaacson, who won last time out, gets himself a nice solid P2, and Tim Bertie rounds out the podium for Simracing, and Rudolf Nagel in for Simracing as well in P4. But Team Radline bringing up P5 with Mike Buisson, who won that place at the very death with some absolutely fantastic racing up the inside of Stephen Place, the Canadian, who almost got it back on the line, was gaining and gaining, but 300th, 400ths, not quite enough. Ivan Bremer finishes P7. We've got P8, Paul Crabb, P9, Karabelas with a fantastic recovery driver being last on lap 1. Paul LeMay in P10, top of the two brothers. Paul Clark in P11. 12 is Menno de Graaf. 13, David Walters. 14, David Rolliston. 15, Jason Duckworth. 16, Nihad Glishik. And 17, Michael LeMay. We've also got Jorge Gonzaga in P18. And moving on, we've got Andy Behan in the P19. I believe it's Behan. Could be Behan. I can't pronounce it. I don't know. P20, Guy Robertson. P21, Alex Rogenbuck. P22, Berend Wienik. And P23, Joseph Emmett, who had a tough time of it today. 4 laps down in the end. Had a couple of incidents. John Hutchinson, 7 laps down. Finished it off in the pits, but did finish. Then we've got Melis, who believe did finish as well. We've got Blanco Doza and Ibas, who all went out. That is our grid for the Radical World Series in Europe. Race 2 is over and done with, and we have a man waiting in the interview already. It is our race winner, Jürgen Frank. Very keen to get his interview out of the way. Maybe he's got places to be. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, let's drag Mr. Jürgen in here, and you can start that interview with, well done, Mr. Jürgen. GG's, my friend. A race win.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks.
Yeah, not a bad job at all. A bit of a lonely race for you in the end. You've spent the entire time in first place, but you won't be too disappointed with the lack of racing, I'm sure. Looked like Isaacson definitely pushed you to the very end. Only 5 or 6 seconds in it at the end after a 90-minute race. isn't that big a gap overall. Do you feel you had him covered with the pace that you had available?
It was very close actually, because I think we had the same pace. He had 2 mistakes in the beginning that slowed him a bit, but we had actually a big fight for the fastest lap, and yeah, it was very intense because usually a 90-minute race is not that long, but in that car it's very hard to do.
Yeah, you won that battle, I believe, as well for the fastest lap with a 152.40. I believe was your best lap there, which is very impressive. I've got to say, I've been doing some running in these cars just before we started. I could barely get it under 2 minutes. Talk us through your strategy in terms of setup and fueling as well. You did what a lot of people did by the looks of things, where you just came in for the second mandatory pit stop, was just a stop and go. What was your thinking behind that, and why didn't you just take less fuel and just fuel up? Did that not work?
Yeah, the setup we built together. The most work did Rudolf Nagel. He's a legend in doing setups at Radical. And for the strategy, yeah, of course I drove the car empty, because you gain a lot of pace. Then I refueled like 22 liters. And I also took tires because I didn't want to risk it. I think you gain like 3 seconds, but I was already struggling a little bit with all 4 tires, especially in Sunset Bend. I had a few oversteer snaps, but it was still okay. And yeah, the second pit stop I think it was directly 1 lap after, because I saw some traffic in front, and so I decided to dodge this traffic.
Yeah, definitely worked out for you in the end. It's race 1 of your season so far. You missed the original one in Zandvoort. Are you going to be with us next week? Or are you going to miss many more races? Or do you feel as though you're now firmly in this championship rivalry to win it?
I really wanted to race last week, but I got sick, and yeah, sadly I couldn't drive with high fever. And yeah, for the season, I don't know if I can drive every race, but I will definitely jump in here and there, because it's so much fun to drive this car, and I also expect some close battles in the next races.
It definitely moves around a lot, this car. Do you find it easy to save when it does start slipping?
Yeah, it's quite easy to feel the car. You feel everything what the car is doing. It's a little bit different than GT3, where everything is a bit softer. So here you basically jump in and know what to do, at least quite much.
If you're a good driver, I bet you're a better driver than me anyway. You've got quite a sizable I rating there. Where did you apply your original trade? There's a GT3s that you usually drive to do that kind of 8K I racing. That's quite a sizable chunk.
I rating is just a number. I got that I rating in GT1 and GT I don't drive a lot of official races. I do the big league races or the special events. I enjoy this more, and yeah, there's a good competition.
So you're like
and
one of the
chat
drivers that go up against Max Verstappen. That's something that Zachary was talking about in the chat there before. Or basically drive as much as Max Verstappen does in the simulator. It's obviously a great performance.
Yeah, actually, it's Max Verstappen is not a good driver to drive against.
Well, Zachary had mentioned here that, because Zachary has done a lot of casting for like some of the top splits as well, and he's a part of the JP Broadcasting network team. He was saying that the bumps here at Sebring have even conquered Max Verstappen, but they didn't conquer you today, my friend. So, yeah. And anything you adjusted with your ride height to handle those bumpy situations on the track?
We played around a bit, but actually no, not because of the bumps. I mean, they are just there, and can do a little bit with the dampers, but we didn't look that deep into the setup.
So I believe it is Brands Hatch next. Am I right in saying that? I'm not sure. I shall check. But next track, you're not sure if you're going to make it, you said already, kind of thing. But if you were to make it, do you feel strong and confident that you can beat Adam Isaacson as well? Because he was really pushing you today. And you got the fastest lap in the end, won that battle. Can you win more battles with him?
Especially Brands Hatch, it's a hard track. No space for mistakes. I personally enjoy Sebring a bit more, so it will be a very big challenge at Brands Hatch if that's the next race.
I think it might be Barber, actually. I could be totally wrong entirely.
God.
But yeah,
That's
Barber, I'm not sure on what I can do, how that track works. I've never driven it, never commentated on it, but we'll figure it out together, me and you. Jürgen.
Yeah.
But well, say very much congratulations to you on the first win, and yeah, we're gonna go on Adam Isaacson next, but he's disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mike?
can call him.
Yeah,
maybe.
call him.
Maybe.
Grab your teammate by the scruff of the neck there, and play some Beethoven music too. I'm pretty sure you might be playing. So I hope you're playing some of that Beethoven music. We're in the cockpit, of course, because a Beethoven domination. Just to confirm that Adam is in the SimRC Beethoven team, or is he in the SimRC Mozart team? I'll get mixed up on that one.
Just SimRC.
Just SimRC. It's under on there, but yeah, we don't. I mean, you're driving the same liveries, so it's very hard to determine.
We are all SimRC. That's the most important. But
all right, thank you very much. Yeah, well, looking forward to
too.
it and seeing you in the next track once again, and continue that domination.
Yeah, thanks. See you next time. Bye.
Yeah, great interview there from Jürgen. Glad for him to give us his time. But yeah, one thing I noticed there as well, in terms of SimRC, we've obviously got 3 different RC teams, Mozart, Beethoven, and just the standard RC team. They've actually got top 4 spots between them. Like if they're all SimRC, all in part of the same team, just split into the different groups of drivers. Maybe there's a limit to how many drivers you can have in each team, and they've hit that limit. It's interesting to see that they're all still near or thereabouts as well at the top. And interesting thing worth noting as well is that when you look at the standings and the I rating at the same time, it is almost in I racing order. But we have got Adam Isaacson ready to interview. So congratulations, Adam, on a brilliant P2. Top 2 finishes in both races so far and a lead in the championship. You can't be unhappy with that. That is a big point haul for you today.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, was decent. I didn't really get it together at the start, so I lost Jürgen a bit, which was unfortunate because I wasn't able to catch him after that. But yeah, P2 is still good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Jürgen was very rapid today, but you guys were trading fastest lap the last stint there, blow for blow. You managed to take it off him a couple of times, but he did nick it in the end by 1.5 tenths. Is it just a feeling that maybe you messed up too many mistakes today, or do you think that you've got the pace to challenge him in the future?
Well, yeah, Jürgen was very quick, as you said. But I also made a few mistakes in the beginning, which I think was the main reason I lost him. And I also, I just in general drove pretty poorly for that first half hour or so. Yeah, but then I found a bit more pace, but it wasn't enough.
It's tricky, these longer endurance races, aren't they? I've been doing the VRS series and the GT3s this week, and it's a different kettle of fish when you know you're going to go for longer. You've got to concentrate and get each lap perfect, pretty much. And it's so easy to make one big mistake. And unfortunately, one of your rivals today, John McHutchinson, had one of those big errors, and he ended up down in P23, I think it was, in the end, which goes to show what happens if you get it wrong and end up in the wrong barrier. One thing I wanted to ask though is SimRC. What's the deal with the teams? Like you've got SimRC Beethoven, you've got SimRC Standard, just you and this one, and then you've got SimRC Mozart. Is that just are you a big group of guys who all know each other and race together, and you've had to split the teams across 3 teams, or what's going on there?
I actually have no clue about the naming of the teams. I kind of registered for this a bit late, so basically when I registered, we already had 4 guys, so I was the 5th guy. So then I just kind of jumped in as an quote-unquote extra guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm not really. I don't know actually.
I was going to ask you, who's your favorite composer then?
That's a difficult one.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest.
Well, how about you save that one and we'll ask you that one next time we're talking to you. That means you've just got to get on the podium, okay, if you want to have a chat to us at the end of the race. And then we'll, you've got a week or so to ponder on that one.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, next question I had for you was in terms of Tim Birdie. He's currently your closest championship rival after today. He's got P3 the first race, P3 the second race. You've got P1 and P2. So you've got 4 points, I think, ahead of him. But with the point system the way it is, it's difficult to really pull out a lead over your rivals. It's a case of you've got to be very consistent with this point system, with only 2 points separating the top 10 or so. How do you feel about that? Is that something that you raced this guy before? Do you know he's got a mistake in him, or are you thinking in terms of long term, just win every race or do as well in every race you can each time?
Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit early to be thinking about championship points. It's still a long championship, so just need to focus on every race basically.
Only 10 rounds. It's not all that long. I mean, one missed race could cause absolute havoc, which obviously you've seen already. Jürgen has missed the first one, and he's now going to be minimum 48 points behind the next person. So it can have a big ripple-on effect in these shorter series. With only 10 races, you've put yourself so far in a prime position to take that. But one bad race, one issue like McCutcheon had today, and that could cause real problems. How do you keep your focus in terms of that over the season and over the course of some of these longer races as well? Because every other race here is going to be an endurance one, this 1 hour and a half of racing. Is it difficult for you to keep on top of things? So do you ever get woken? I don't know about you, but when I'm doing an endurance race, every now and again something happens to me, like I get a snap of oversteer or something like that, and all of a sudden it jolts me into, I really need to focus and concentrate because it's so easy to lose it. Does that happen to you? How do you feel as though you fare in the longer races?
Well, I think I mean, this 90-minute races are definitely a little bit harder than the 30-minute ones, but yeah, it's something that you learn to deal with really, especially when, like, I've done a lot of like endurance races, 12 hours and 24 hours and stuff. So it's something that I think you learn.
About the patience times. It's Barber next, a track that I have zero experience at. What's your experience like there?
Same actually. I don't even have the track yet, so
yeah, no, I don't have it either. So yeah, I'm gonna, have to pull some doubles or something like that to kind of afford that. It's very expensive, this iRacing lark. It's enough to bankrupt a man at times, but yeah, it's that much fun. I've had an absolute whale of a time racing all week this week. How much practice do you put in before a session like this?
Well, to be honest, this one I didn't really do a lot. I did maybe 1 or 2 hours. But yeah.
Kudos to that then, because I've got to spend a lot more time in the car, any track, anything, before I can get up to speed. It's taken me a good 5 or 6 races to do it in the GT3s at the Red Bull Ring this week. But I have to say that track is an absolute nightmare for track limits. Track limits don't seem to be much of a problem here, and I haven't got a clue about them at Barber Motorsports. But you've gotten off to a fantastic start so far to the season. You've got to be very pleased with that. But we'll try and take up no more of your time and let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, Adam.
Right.
One question before you go: how do you pronounce your surname?
Isaacson. I think.
Isaacson.
Yeah, we got it right eventually. My apologies for calling you Ericsson.
I had it right all along. I've been calling you Isaacson all day because the footballer for Newcastle United is called Isak, and he's Swedish. And
yeah,
I thought, well,
works as well.
I thought yours might be the same, but Isaacson is the better way. Okay, so we'll use that one in the future. But anyway, thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure talking to you as always, and we'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Right, thanks a lot.
Have a good one.
Yeah, that is it. Absolutely, we got through those interviews. So we'll wrap that one up at the moment. So obviously, a big GG's there to the Simracing racing team there, getting it done. And a grueling race, but you'd have to say pretty good considering not many retirements. I think we're only about 5 retirements at the end of the day, maybe 6 because of John with that late one. But for an endurance race, not bad. Clean starts, obviously, as you saw. So everybody got through there cleanly, and a couple of just a little moments, but yeah, not bad at all considering when everybody's bunched up in a great track like this. So yeah, that's it. I'll let you take the final words out for us there, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Very very gentlemanly of you. But yeah, it's been a fantastic race. As you say, there was a lot of action, a lot of great racing to be had there. Some great conversations between me and you as well. And some big changes in the championship as well. And I can't wait to see how this championship shapes up. It's already shaping up to be pretty tight, especially in terms of drivers' championship as well, because the points differences are very slim. Because of that, that means the team championship is also getting mixed up very rapidly in the first 2 races as well. And we're going to start seeing that take shape next week at Barber as well, if I'm indeed available for it as well. I don't have the track yet, so but I should be able to work out something to get that track in. It looks like an exciting one, but yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating with you as always, Dean, and I'm looking forward to doing it next week, if not sooner. Thank you everybody for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to help us out. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Coming down to Does he have it? Is going to get it. They're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!